Heidi ho, good neighbors. How are you? 2 nights in a row. Aren't you lucky? It's Saturday. I hope you had a great day today. I hope your weekend is going well. Of course, I wish you all a happy new year. I hope this year is prosperous and healthy and happy for everybody. I'm Phil Russert. This is Creatorcon Q&A. Tonight we have a really cool show. It's a little change up. Normally, of course, I do a show where I interview different creators in the industry, whether they be indie or mainstream, etc. But tonight we're going to talk to one of the ultimate collectors, and it's going to be a lot of fun. He's a really cool guy. It's going to be a fun conversation you can all join in on. So please, we encourage the comments and the questions and everything. What I would ask you first and foremost is please share this out. Let everybody know about it. Let's have a party. It's a Saturday night. Most of us are stuck home. So let's just have some fun and talk geek culture, comics, collecting, all that good stuff. Before we get to our guest, I have a ton of shout outs, so please be patient and bear with me for a few minutes and forgive me that old senile cat is crying again. Anyway, so I just want to let you know the Epic Sewer Podcast Network. It has Epic Shells, Turtle Tracks, Tales from the Sewer, What's in My Head, and Comic Watchers. Those are all podcasts. Most of them are dedicated to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and that whole universe. So if that's your thing, please go check them out. They're really cool people, great podcasts, and a lot of fun. We also have the Nerd Byword with Chris and Dave. That is a podcast that's out every Monday. It's on all podcast stations that you could possibly check out, and they're doing everything geeks and pop culture and news. It's a fun show. Please check out the Nerd Byword with Chris and Dave. Comics Cast with Joe Tolliver and Gerald Motos, Sundays at 1 p.m. So tomorrow at 1 p.m., go to Comics Cast. You could also follow Joe Tolliver and find where to go for that. They are a cool podcast show, a lot of indie people. So go check that out. Tomorrow, Sunday, 1 p.m., they have a show. Android's Amazing Podcast with James and Hunter. Weekly in news and update on what comics are coming out, what's going on. James is very knowledgeable, so is Hunter. They're a good group of guys. Go check that out. The Bit and Apple, Rafael Tavares Jr. and crew. You can also find on YouTube and all the channels you find podcasts. They're very knowledgeable, great people. They do conventions and live scenes from conventions, etc. It came from the radio, Mark Torres and his group. Please check them out. They're on everything on the internet, and they're a great group of guys, and they do everything, news, entertainment, you name it. For your comic book needs, Mad Titan Comics, _Comics on Instagram. Eric Gunderson is the owner-operator on Facebook. Let's Do This, Andy Lee, www.letsdodis.com, LESDUDIS, convention reviews, collectible reviews, you name it. And I just want to let you know this Monday at 8 p.m., January 4th, on the Enrique Lopez's Instagram and Facebook, it's Art by Kike. I'm going to be joining a roundtable conversation with legendary inker Keith Williams, Jay Lipson, artist Sebastian Bonet, who also runs the In Beyond Con. In Beyond Con is a really great local con here in Long Island for independent artists. So keep up for news on that. We're going to sit down around a table, and we're going to talk comics, the industry, things going on. So if you care to hear what we have to say, please come out 8 p.m. this Monday and look for the posts that talk about that. Just a few quick things. Stick with me, and we're going to get to the guest. NSC Live, just know that that's the comic book network created for geeks, by geeks, featuring live sales, comic shops, creators, podcasts, cosplay, news, and interviews. That's nsclive.com. And then I just want to remind you a few things from me. March 14th, the Suffolk Comic and Art Expo will be here in Suffolk County with Billy Tucci, Larry Stroman, Keith Williams, probably Sean Chen, as long as capacity and health is all good. Mike Lilly is a possibility as well. Scott Hanna will be there, Rodney Ramos, Tony Cordos, Alex Rivera, and a lot of great local talent. So we're going to have some big headliners as well as some awesome local talent. Comic dealers, CGC facilitator, all there March 14th. $5 cash at the door. You can't beat that. $5 cash at the door, and you get to see all these great creators. So just keep that in mind. Also, I want to remind you, if you need a comic creator team to make your comic, I have artists, I have inkers, I have colorists, I have letterers, you name it, and they're all professional at great affordable rates. That's Legendary Illustrations. Go to www.belegendaryillustrations.com for the website. You can purchase art there. We also have art for sale from the legendary Ron Wilson. And you can reach out to me even on DM if you have any projects you wish to hire these artists for. So just want to let you know. Hey, Enrique put the link to where you could go to the Art by Kike show Monday 8 p.m. in the chat. Now that that's all out of the way, please share this out. Let's get everybody to come on in, because this is going to be really cool. He's a really cool guy. This is going to be just sitting and hanging out. So join the fun. Let's talk. Let's have a blast. Tonight, if you haven't seen the video, we have Jay Williams, who is the ultimate collector. We're going to talk about his holy grails. We're going to see his collection, statues and toys and slabbed books. And biggest thing is we're going to see this awesome Batcave man cave that he finally built. If you didn't see it, he has the whole Batman 66 thing going on, slides down a pole. It's fun. So I'm going to introduce Jay Williams, and we are going to see the ultimate Batcave. What's going on?
Hey, Phil. How you doing?
Good. Sorry about the long intro. I like to try to share the wealth and get a lot of people exposure out there. So we'll trim it down a little, but I want to give everybody a shout out. So how you doing?
We're good. We're good. We're just hanging out and excited to be here. And I love when people think I'm cool. It's the only time ever, maybe in the comic world. I love it.
Well, it's funny because you and I did a tech check at this afternoon around 2, and we wound up doing like a show ourselves, just talking for like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half.
Yep.
And it just flew by because we were just having fun, geeking out and talking comics. And we were mentioning that when we were growing up, being a comic fan wasn't cool. It was like the dirty secret. You know, you didn't let that be known, especially to girls.
Oh,
you know, you were a loser. But now it's like you're a star.
If you wanted a date, you didn't bring it up too much. That's for sure.
And you've been collecting for quite some time. Now, we're going to get into the Batcave. You can see, obviously, a little bit behind you. The pole is right behind you, the Bat pole. And you got the Batman 66. You put a lot of work into this. And you got wall-to-wall slab books.
Yep, there's a breast pole.
And it's just awesome. And you got so many little things that go on into this this cave. So Guy Schwartz is on.
What's up, Guy? Hey, Guy.
I didn't know you know Guy.
Yeah, I know Guy. Hey, Guy.
I know a Guy. What's up, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on this project for, wow, I guess my whole life, because I mean, I started, hey, John, what's up, man? I've been collecting since I was 6. I still have the first book I ever got. I mangled it because I was 6. But actually, I'll show it to you because I got some books. This is my first book. This is Flash 323. This is the actual book. This is what captivated me. I just liked the different color flashes. I had no idea who Flash was when I first saw this, but you know, it was at a comic book store, and my father brought me to it. Probably his own fault starting all this. But if you can see here really closely, I autographed it. Right. No, I autographed. That's my autograph when I was 6. But that's Carmine Infantino. I did have him sign it later. But it's all, you know, if you had to grade it, it would probably get like a 1.5 because it's just been used and abused. But this is my favorite book because I still have it. I don't know how it survived, but somehow I just kept grabbing them and putting them aside. And next thing you know, you have like a box, and next thing you know, you have a collection, and now you're addicted. So that's kind of what we all.
By the way, before we get into all that, I do want to do a shout out to Brian Brewer, who's an awesome dude.
Byron.
And he's an avid supporter of the show. He's a very kind guy. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about him. And Byron reached out to me and said, hey, I know this guy, and he's a cool guy, and he's got this amazing Batcave, and he's got this video, and he's just a cool dude. Would you want to have him on the show? And I was like, hell yeah, let's bring him on. And Byron is the reason why you're on tonight. So thank you, Byron.
Yes, thank you, Byron. Byron's my buddy. He's been since COVID started, we've been talking, sharing comic covers just to keep us all engaged on Facebook. And you know, it's great getting able to talk stuff and see what other people's experiences were in their life with, you know, stuff that affected them and things like that. And it's great.
Byron has a great resume himself in the industry, so people should follow him, check it out, and hear his story. He's got an interesting story in his own right. John Ottinger, how are you, my friend? John J, thanks for coming on. Christy Alferez, I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, Jerome is here. Jerome's one of my friends. He's actually my local comic shop entrepreneur that I buy from. So he also
Cool.
conditions my habit.
What's the comic shop? Give him a plug.
Yeah, Temptations Comics. Temptations Guitars and Comics in New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Well, Jerome or Christy, feel free to put any link or any info in the chat that you would like for your store. We'll always love to support our local comic shops, etc., and small business, especially right now. So please go ahead and put that in the chat. All right, so let's get to it. Reverse Flash was your first book, and you've been collecting for a long time. As you can see, you have like a lifetime of stuff behind you. It's probably not even half of what you have.
That's the small part.
Because I saw the boxes inside the shelves that you have, so that's awesome. Next thing you gotta do is convert them to the hard plastic boxes, probably, right?
No, I built the shelves so I didn't have to do that. It was just actually this all started because we just built a new home, my wife and I, and the other house I just had, I don't know, I have 100 something, I don't know, 120 long boxes, and for anyone that has a collection, they're heavy. And you want to get to them. If you have them stacked, good luck. You're going to get back problems eventually, because to move them around all the time is a pain in the neck. Especially if you want to look at them, or you want to sell them, or you want to like give one. You have it. It's up here. You just, where is it? One night it took me 5 hours to find one book, and I thought I knew where it was. I went in the first box. I didn't see it, and then I went through all the other boxes, and it turns out it was in the first one. I just got stuck to another one. And I was up till 3 a.m. I was so pissed off with myself, and I know I had it too. It's just, so I made a concerted effort I want to get it organized, and that's where this idea came from, was have a room with shelves, and that was how it started. It really wasn't this monstrosity that I created. Was really not the number one intent. Was just to have a room with shelves so that I could get stuff, alphabetize them, which I'm not finished yet, which I'm not even close. But I'm going to have them alphabetized, and I can get to them quickly. So that was how it started. From there, my wife, she's great because she lets me do this stuff. Like,
listen, you have this huge Batcave that probably costs a ton of money. She's a keeper. Period. She's a keeper. That's it.
Yeah, she is. And actually the way this all started was, one, to get a place to organize. But when I grew up next to a house, and the guy who built it built secret passages in the house. And I used to play hide and seek with his kids, and it was the best house. It had slides in it. It had these doors. Crazy. You could go to other rooms. You could never catch anybody. It was like impossible. It was the best house. So when we started building, we built from scratch. We hired an architect, and the architect was like, well, and is there anything, interesting you want to do with the house? Because it wasn't like a set of plans. We were designing it from scratch. And I said, I wanted secret passages. I wanted basically Scooby-Doo house. Yeah. So I was like, all right, let's do Scooby-Doo. And he's like, fine. So he starts sketching it out. And, I guess because of the building codes and things, you can't do that anymore, because if you put a wall behind a wall, it has to be like handicap accessible. So now the wall, I wanted just like a crawl space to get behind it. You can't do that. And then you got to fireproof it. And the price just started going up and up and up. So I started getting dejected, and I kind of gave up on it. And then I kind of thought, well, it would be cheap if I just cut a hole in the floor. That's pretty cheap, right? I don't need to build extra walls and things like that. And he said, yeah. And I was going to put like a twisty slide for the kids. And then he said, well, you got to put something at the top to protect from people falling down it. He's like, you could put like a door or like a bookcase. And I was like, bookcase? And then I was like, why don't we put a pole like Batman? And then kind of just steamroll from there. And then it was kind of, all right, and I'll put it into the room that I wanted with the shelves. And then it became, all right, now I'm going to put places for statues. And it just kind of got out of hand. And
it's like a museum down there. It's awesome.
I feel like it looks like an old record store, where the old records were like the wall-to-wall records. Like when I finally finished it, that's what it really made me. It felt like to me, and I kind of liked it, like that old. You can't see the wall color.
And you got the pole with a fire department.
Yeah. All right. So the pole was another whole story. It's really hard to find a fire pole nowadays. They don't sell them at Target or Walmart much.
Yeah,
I
I've
actually,
been looking.
yeah, right. What do you mean you don't have a fire pole? You got everything else. We went to, I started trying to find one once I decided to do this. And I called all the fire departments and none of them had them anymore. Actually, they got rid of them because I think they were like a safety hazard for the guys. I guess they were trying to go down head first, betting each other, and they were getting on workman comp claims. So they were getting in like a little bit of trouble. So most
Good
of
to know
the,
those are the people saving us.
yeah, right. They're like, we're bored. Let's, I bet you can't go down head first. Which don't do, by the way. It's not a good idea. Um, but anyways, it was something where I just called them and I said, "What'd you do with the old ones? I'll just take one." And they're gone. They were sold. So finally, I had to like go through and talk to people. I mean, I knew a guy who was like the head of the fire union in the area, and he asked around. And then all of a sudden, an old timer called me up. I don't want to say old timer. He was a cool guy, but he's been around a while. I guess he was in the fire department for 30, 40 years. And he goes, "There's a place where you can buy fire poles," and he gave me a website. And it turned out it's up near Boston.
All
And
right.
it's actually McIntyre Brassworks. So I'm giving a shout out to McIntyre Brassworks, considering the only place in the country I think you can buy a fire pole. So if you guys want to do it, feel free. Go give him a call. But he had an old one from, he refurbished it from an old fire station. So I bought it from him. And I kept telling him, "Hey, I want to buy this." And he was like, "What fire station do you work for?" I'm like, "I don't." So he kind of looked at me a little, he didn't look at me. He talked to me like I was kind of a little funny, but every time I called, he kept forgetting my name. I'm like, "It's Jay." And he goes, "Who?" I'm like, "Jay." And I did tell him I was going to make it like Batman. So I always say, "It's Batman." He would say, "Oh, I got you, Batman." He recognizes my voice as Batman, not by my name. So every time I call, I'd say, "Hey, it's Jay." And he goes, "Who?" I'm like, "It's Batman." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, all right. I got your order." So I drove up in a U-Haul because the pole's 19 feet long, and I didn't know how I was going to get it here. So I rented this ginormous U-Haul, drove up through Boston in the little city streets of Boston to this like foundry, where they smelt all kinds of metal products. And if you walk in, you get covered in soot like immediately. And they got the forceps and they're pouring the metal. It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool, blast from the past. And I got there and he's like, "Why is your truck so big?" And I'm like, "It's 19 feet long." He goes, "It comes in pieces, buddy." And I'm like, "You didn't tell me that." I drove this truck through Boston. Like, I guess it's threaded and it threads together so perfectly. You don't even see that. You can't feel the seam. Once you put it together, I can't find the seam. It's amazing.
Do you have to treat the pole though, so it's easy to slide? Do you have to polish the pole?
Yeah, you do actually. Yeah, you use actually.
Where's Dante when they need him?
It's called brass. It's called Brasso, and you need a brass cleaner because if you don't, it gets
my pole.
It gets dirty. Yeah, I know, right? It gets dirty, and you'll realize it pretty quick when you wear some clothes that are white down it, because oh yeah, you get a big streak.
Do you ever get that rub on your hands, like and you're not going down really fast? You're like,
I always say there's 3 different ways people go down the pole. Too fast, they don't hold on, they fly down. There's the other way, which is the right way, where you kind of just slide down pretty smooth. And then there's the one that's the white knuckler, and they hang on and they don't let go, and then they're like hanging like this, and then they go, you can hear the squealing of their hands coming off. But
hey, diver down, what's going on?
Sorry. Yeah. It's fun though. It's fun to watch people do it for the first time, because they look down and like, "You sure this is safe?" I'm like, "It's safe." You only go from my upstairs, where if you see in the video, that's my office in the house, and right below it is in the basement. And there are stairs to get out, because everyone always asks, how do you get out? I'm like, "Oh, I built a door." There is a door out. So,
well, I'm going to show the video in a minute, that you put together, which is pretty cool. But before I do, were you always a fan of Batman 66, or did that just theme come up because you wound up going with the pole?
I was always a fan. I mean, that was one of the only shows that I could get. I didn't have cable,
right?
And I had to get like rabbit ears as a kid to pick up stuff, and like the only comic stuff was that, and once in a great while on like Dialing for Dollars, they'd play the old Spider-Man movie. So it was mostly watching Adam West, the 66 show with Cesar Romero and Burt
Holy
Ward.
bat thermal underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually met Adam West as a kid at a show, and actually I was going to the bathroom, and he went to the bathroom next to me, and I just looked. I went, "Oh, holy piss, Batman!" I didn't know what to say, and I felt so embarrassed. I just like walked out. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do," and I just like got out of there. But
Well, the best is when you're at a urinal next to a Ghostbusters fan and they say to you, "Don't cross the stream."
yeah, I've seen people say that one before, but yeah, that I mean, I always love Batman. You know, he's one of the better characters, and the show was. Yeah, it's something I grew up with. It was just something that, you know, my parents had no problem letting me watch. It wasn't
Right,
violent.
well, it was campy.
Yeah, it's campy, but it was something digestible that they were fine with. They didn't have to.
I still say Cesar Romero is the best Joker they ever made. Just get rid of the mustache and maybe make him more psychotic, less kid friendly.
Yeah.
But the laugh, the look, he was great.
Yeah, the makeup on the mustache always made it look weird.
Yeah, but he was great though.
He was
Byron
good.
says that your first tape that you made, you had your kid go down first.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I showed Byron early what I was working on.
So your son was the guinea pig.
Actually, the first person who went down was the guy who installed it, our contractor. I said, his name's Alfred. I was like, Alfred.
Nice.
He's all set. I'm like, yeah, you go first, and I'm going to watch you because I'm not jumping on that thing unless I know it works.
Dude, it's meant to be Alfred.
Yeah, I know, right? Alfred. I didn't even think of that. That's the first time I noticed that. No, Alfred's a great guy. But yeah, Alfred helped build the Batcave, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it. That is pretty neat. Weird stuff comes up.
So I'm going to show the video now, and now you purposely do this video in the campy style of the 1966 Batman. So just let everybody know it's meant to be cheesy and silly, but the whole point of it is to show this awesome Batcave.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out real quick to Jeff Kalovic, who helped film it. My buddy Jeff, he did all the filming. I can't take any credit.
Cool. And if Jeff is watching, or if you want to later on, if he has any social media or something you want to put in the chat, go right ahead.
Okay.
So we're going to pull this up, and I'm going to put it on for a minute, and I'll make sure that the audio should be going. So if it's not, let me know. If you don't hear it, tell me. All right, you ready? Let's go.
Hey guys, just getting out of work and just got my latest acquisition here. Going to do an unboxing for you. Pretty excited what we got. So I'm going to open it up and show you, and we'll talk about it. So hang on real quick. Oh. Hang on.
Okay, need your help.
Commissioner Gordon, is that you?
They've taken over the city.
What?
The Penguin,
Penguin?
the Two-Face,
Two-Face?
and the Joker.
And Joker?
That's right,
Where?
at Arkham Asylum.
Okay, I'm on it. Sorry guys, I gotta go. To the back hole. Hey guys, I want to welcome you to our comic cave. This is something I've been working on for the last couple of years. I've always wanted a place to display all the comics and toys and collectibles that I've collected over the last 35 years of my life, and I finally have one. And my wife is a saint, so let me do this. Thank you so much, honey. What I want to do today is just take you for a little bit of a tour, show you around, see what we got, and I hope you enjoy it. So why don't we just go and take a look?
Man, that badass Skeletor. Look at that. That is
Oh.
awesome.
Oh.
Is that Sideshow?
No, that was MFA Collectibles. That's a great newer company. He's out of Dubai. I saw that and I contacted him and just said I have to have that. And he let me have my lucky number, which is 7.
That is insane.
Because I think I was one of the first people to order one. A little lesson learned, though. Try shipping something out of Dubai. See what the price costs.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially something that size.
Look at the special made cabinets. I mean, you know, the counters and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually put them in the corner with different statues in mind.
With great power.
Just make sure they fit.
Great responsibility. I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, Jeff added all these sounds and stuff, make it just epic. It's Adam West's autograph. Tom Cook.
And that was the door that that you can get out and go up the stairs.
Yeah, see, there is a doorknob. You can't escape.
Look at that, the glass case with all those. That's beautiful. Look at that, and the lighting.
So one of the things we wanted to accomplish in this room was provide a
Thundercats
great
in the
place to
background.
display the slabs. A lot of people are asking me, where are the raw books? Well, we accomplished both. We didn't want the raw books to be taking up too much space because obviously they do. So what we did was we tried to provide storage. And as you see me right behind here, these are where our raw books are. All the way down, you can see our raw books are here and they're completely accessible. It's great for the kids if they want to come grab some and read some, and they can look at them whenever they want. Then we can get to put them away and clean it up afterwards. So it makes a great room for accessibility and for storage. Thank you all for taking a tour of our comic cave. I want to thank everyone that worked on this project to help make this dream a reality. Bill and I sincerely thank you so much for all your help. Just so you know, in case you're doubting it, Bill does work. Thanks again.
So we'll put this. We'll give the credits to the people. There's Jeffrey. So very cool.
Yeah, and I was trying to put shout outs to all the artists that helped make the wall the way it looks.
Absolutely.
There's just too many great artists out nowadays. Artists, writers. I feel like we're going through. Yeah, I got a few of his. It seems like every week they come out with a great new exclusive cover somewhere that you just want. And there's so many of them. I don't know how to say no. That's the problem.
Well, first of all, congrats. That's an awesome room. It's so beautiful looking, clean and neat. I don't envy you though on having to alphabetize and categorize all of those books. But you know what? I mean, man, after 7 years, you said of looking to get this done. How many years?
2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
We bought the land 2 years ago, and then the entire house project took a while, and then this last part of it, the comic part of it, because of COVID this year slowed a lot of things down, but getting it decorated, getting everything up to where it is now, it took months. I mean, it took probably 7-8 months just to.
You know what? That's fun work, though, for me anyway. To be able to that's just awesome. And you had Thundercats in the background. You're raising your kids right. Thank God for that. John Ottinger said, like I said before, after we got our shots, we're all coming over.
That's right. One of the things when we did this, I told my wife, you realize there's going to be a line of geeks out the front of the house, right? And she said, I knew that when I met you. So it's not a shock. So yeah, no, everyone come on down. We're going to, I'd love to show it to people. It really is fun. One of the reasons I did this too is like, I have all this stuff sitting in boxes.
Right.
I mean, the artwork doesn't do anybody any justice sitting in a box. It needs to be displayed. I was either going to sell this stuff or do this. And let's just say I had a hard time getting rid of it because I mean, every single piece in here, I remember where I was when I bought it. I remember reading it. That's the other thing. I do read them, even though they are slabbed. I have read them all. It is, my escape. Comics are my escape.
Sure.
You want to shut off the world, go into another world.
Stressful job. You try to get away from it, right? And just relax.
Yeah, and I've always connected with the characters and the writers, and now it's the industry. I just love the comic industry. I like how comics are made. I like every part about it. I like the legal part about it. I like the weird, like every weird little nuance. Like when I learned about Wonder Woman, the legality, how Wonder Woman has to be printed every month or the rights go back to the family. And you think back, that was like in the 1940s when they wrote the contract. Those are cool stories. I just like stuff when Marston did that. I just love the old stuff like that. But the art is really why I did this. The art, to see it, to look at it, putting them next to each other, just, it's hard to do. And I'm seeing more and more people display their comic walls or comic rooms on Facebook and Instagram. And it just looks spectacular. And just to see the stuff is just great. And, it is like having a comic book store at your house. So
absolutely. Chris Borman said, great collection. I had to buy a house to display my collection of statues, but once I bought the house, I couldn't afford to buy any more statues. Is that usually the case?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been in the buying stuff for a while, and all of a sudden I kind of like went, it was like crickets, and like, what happened to Jay? And this is what I've been doing. So sorry guys, I couldn't buy anything for a while.
Where did you get the statue though? Because it's just like the statue from '66, and then the red phone. I mean, did you buy a phone and paint it, or how did you get those props?
Amazon was the red phone. You can find it on Amazon.
Oh really?
Yeah, I put in Batman phone, and there it popped up. It doesn't actually ring right. Well, it might. I don't have a house jack with the new house.
Right. Nobody really does anymore.
Yeah. So I didn't install one. So the sound you heard, Jeff put that in there for us just to make it sound like it was ringing. But I got that on Amazon. The Shakespeare head is a vinyl bank. It was a Diamond Select vinyl piggy bank. So I got that, and when I bought the door opener, there's a company called Gentleman Door in Pennsylvania, and sure enough, they had the vinyl piggy banks, and they were wiring them up already. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm actually putting in a bat pole. And he's like, well, that's a first. Well, at least I was the first one who did that. And I said, can I send you the piggy bank? And I sent it to him, and he put the Bluetooth thing inside of it. And I come back and turns right on. It's amazing.
Now, if your Wi-Fi goes down, does that work?
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
It's just a Bluetooth signal right from that to the closer. Okay.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, if the power went out in the house, it wouldn't work because the closer's on a plug.
Right.
But it's also on it has a air compressor to reload it, which is actually under one of the statue pedestals.
Okay.
So, and actually, I didn't plan that. I didn't know that when I bought it, and then all of a sudden, I had to get an air compressor, and it fit perfectly in there. It just kind of worked out. So.
Now, did you design the room itself, or did they do that for you, like the architect?
No, this was just basically in the basement, and it's shaped like an L. We'll do a little tour in a minute, it's shaped like an L. And it's really just right where under the office where it was in the house. I just said I'm going to commandeer this section of the house for my comics, and I just made a wall straight across where the rest of the house is and put a door. And then now I knew what I had to work with, and then I started, I had a carpenter build the shelves, and then, got a lot of funny looks when I was saying, what do you want this for? And then he's like, how many shelves do you want? And they didn't believe me I had this many comics. And then when I moved them, they're like, oh, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, I thought I had a lot. I had like 60 long boxes and maybe like 20 short boxes. And I thought that I had a crazy collection. But my God, man, 120 long boxes? Where the hell do you put all that? Well, I mean, when you don't have this cave, but...
Yeah, you get back problems. That's what you get.
Yeah. So, you're a collector of a lot of things, and you and I were talking earlier, too, before we get back to doing the tour. Besides books, and you said you're a big Bizarro fan, and you like the alternate people. We were just talking about how you like Faker, the fake He-Man. And
yep.
But you're also into the 80s cartoons and stuff. And you this is a pretty cool hobby that you started. Why don't you tell us about the voicemail messages? Yeah. And by the way, Richard Jones says, killer looking room, bro. Richard Jones is an excellent artist. Go check him out, man. Richard, put your links and stuff in the chat.
Thanks, Richard. I mean, I've been collecting comics as one thing and toys as another. I remember when statues started coming out, and I was just like, oh, this is great. And then they had the little Bowen bus, and there's always something new. And, I've gone to a lot of the things I like doing is going to the Comic Cons and waiting in line. But I started getting the idea of getting different things other than autographs from some of the stars. So I met a couple. Well, I won't say who they are. I'll just play them for you. But I met a couple people, and I said, hey, will you do my voicemail? Because they're famous voice actors. And they were like, okay. So I started collecting voicemails, which is something that kind of hard to do. But with today's smartphones, you can save them on your phone. And I'll play you one. This is my voicemail right now. Hopefully. Wait, hang on. I got to turn the volume up. That would be good. Tell me if you have trouble hearing it.
You have reached Jay Williams. He's not available right now. Please leave a message and he'll get back to you. This is Optimus Prime. I do not accept trades or securities in this manner. Autobots, roll it out.
That is so cool.
It came out again. You could hear it?
Yeah, we heard it. I heard it.
Yeah, so I met Peter Cullen, and then also this was at Boston Comic Con. Frank Welker. Frank was amazing. I couldn't believe when he did it. He's such a mild-mannered, nice guy, and his voice is so calm. And then when he did it right in front of me, I felt like I was 7 years old again. And it was amazing to hear it. It felt real. As
much as I like Peter Cullen, this is the voicemail I would want.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is Megatron. You've reached Jay Williams. He's not available right now. Please leave your message and he'll get back to you. Also, securities and trades cannot be accepted in this manner. Decepticons, attack!
That is great.
Yeah, I had to have the securities trades in there because of my job. It was for compliance, and they were fine. They were great. They're like, okay, I'll do it. And so that's been like the thing I've been excited about. But then the con shut down, and I'm like, oh darn it. And
see, now you, as if I didn't have enough expensive collections and stuff as it is, and hobbies that my wife is like ready to kick me out for. Now I want to do that, and I'm not a celebrity guy, but to get voicemails like that'd be freaking awesome. Are you kidding me? Like for my show or my business. I mean, they probably wouldn't because they'd be endorsing my show. But imagine that was my intro, like Creatorcon Q&A. That'd be freaking awesome. Are you kidding?
I was watching Voltron yesterday, and Peter Cullen came on, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like he's the narrator in Voltron. Then he's actually the general in vehicle Voltron. And
Yeah.
it's I think the trick with the voicemails, if you get someone, their voice is them.
Right.
You know, it's you hear the voice, and that's the distinct factors. That's the cool part. So I mean, it is something I really like. I really like doing it lately. It's just been something different. And
but you got another one.
Oh yeah, I got one more. I tried some others. They didn't come out good, but this one was fun. Being my last name Williams, I met Billy D, and I was like, "Hey, we're cousins," and he's like, "Yes, we are," like in his smooth voice. and I said, "Oh, if you do my voicemail," he said, "Do you want Lando?" And I was like, "Actually, no." And this is what we did instead.
This is Billy D. Williams. Jay and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now and can't pick up the phone. Please leave a message and I'll have Jay call you back. And remember, it works every time.
That is great.
I just love the Colt 45 commercials growing up as a kid.
I remember.
And that's just what I think of when I see Billy D. Williams. So I was like, all right, I want Colt 45.
He was probably happy that it wasn't Lando again, because that's probably what everybody asked for is Lando, Lando, Lando. But you know, it's funny, George Lucas put in a clause that James Earl Jones was not allowed to use the voice of Darth Vader for anything other than the movies, because he was getting a lot of requests for people to do that. Can you leave a voicemail as Darth Vader? I mean, I would love that. Are you kidding me? Imagine Darth Vader on your voicemail.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I wonder if that clause is still in effect now that Disney owns it. Maybe we can ask James Earl Jones if they do it.
You know what? That's a good question. Yeah, man.
Like, I think the clause is all set. James, let's do it.
Hell, listen. I'd pay a couple $100 for that. That's how stupid I am.
Oh yeah.
I really would. That would be amazing.
I think it's worth it. I mean, I use the most of them for my work voicemail, and you know, my clients already know I'm nuts, so they don't mind. Most people enjoy it. They're like, "Hey, can you not answer so I can hear it again?" And I'm like, "I'll just send you I'll send it to you if you want, like so you can hear it." So,
any other voices you want to get?
Yeah, I do want Skeletor, Alan Oppenheimer. Just because of I'm a kid of the 80s.
He did quite a few voices. I mean, he's
yeah. But I mean, I there's someone I want, but he's dead. I wanted Cobra Commander.
Well, he's the guy who did Starscream too.
Yeah, I mean that would have been amazing to have him be there, because he's such a shrieky, whiny, awesome voice that
Megatron.
He was just great. And that would have been awesome. But I mean, of people that are out and about now, I think Alan Oppenheimer would be the one I want.
He's a real nice guy too, and he's at a lot of shows, so that's something you could get probably, as long as he's willing to do that. Some of them don't want to do the voicemails, but you know.
He did it for my friend Matt. Shout out to Matt Chandler and Callie. He's another friend of mine. We grew up together. We loved Masters of the Universe together growing up, and you know, we still share like all the cool stuff about it, you know, now that it's back out again, and we've always been talking about it all through high school. And we're still talking about it. But yeah, he got to meet him and he did his voicemail, so I was like, oh, I gotta grab one of them too.
That's cool. That's really cool. So I mean, yeah, now you've got me hooked on a collection, another hobby. Good for you.
You're like Ursula.
Yeah. Yeah. My life is gonna love you.
Yeah.
I don't like the influence of that Jay guy. No.
Since I released my little video, I've had a bunch of comments. My wife hates you. No, not really, but they oh God, my wife's gonna kill me. Hey, honey, how about this? They've been linking their wives. They're like,
Richard Jones just said, "Oh, this is good." Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh, I don't have it, but that would be
hell
awesome.
Yeah. Good.
I think
good
that would
call,
cost
Richard.
a lot of money, but I would do it.
Good call, Rich. Good job.
Yeah,
Good
that's my favorite character that he does of all.
Awesome.
I mean, even over Luke Skywalker, it's him as the Joker.
Yeah, he also did the Hobgoblin for the Spider-Man '90s cartoon.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, Joker, absolutely.
Yeah, he would be.
Cool.
Yeah, and Kevin Conroy too.
For Batman
would be pretty awesome too. I mean, his is just a great voice. There's so many. I tried to get the voice for SpongeBob. I can't remember his name, but the line was too long. I mean, there's you try. And I actually tried Pee Wee Herman, and he just didn't want to do it. He just wasn't into it.
He wanted to go to the movies.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna have him say something about the movies, but yeah.
He was busy in the back seat of the last row of the movie.
Yeah, I guess you got to get them on the right time and the right day. And are they going to be, you got to be somewhat respectful. Can't have them really being rude. But I was going to try that one because actually he was right next to Billy D. Williams in New York Comic Con a couple years ago. And I was like, oh, I'll just go there next. And I just kind of went there, and he was like, nah, I'm not really into it. I was like, okay, it's fine. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to get at the very least Megatron. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that Megatron. Yeah, Frank Welker is probably the Mel Blanc of today. Like he worked with Mel Blanc. He was telling me about learning from him. But it's that would be pretty. Yeah, Byron, good idea.
Where'd it go?
Yeah. That would be great to get Bert to do that too. That would be amazing. Maybe now that they see my video, he might do it for me.
And not just that, but if you maybe even get his voice, and he could do something with you to make a new video for this. And he's like, "Holy bat thermal underwear, Batman!" Or something like that. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if we can visit again, maybe I can get him to come here. So like, all right, you want to go down the pole and video it or something? That'd be
just be careful how you phrase that. When you say when you want to go down the pole, it seems like a totally different invite, and he's not going to say yes.
Better watch out. People might be thinking the wrong thing if they do say yes.
Right.
Whoa.
You'd be like, why, sure.
Yes. Oh, I know. I've heard every joke about the pole so far, so it's but it is for the most part. We did the video. I wanted to make sure when we did the video that it was eye popping, and it just kind of was a surprise. So I made it like a fake unboxing. Right. Because I know people do the unboxings, and those are fun to watch. And I kind of did it like I was faking it, and then surprise, we got the Batcave, but the video got a lot of response on Facebook and Instagram. And
yeah, it got 300 views, 340 views on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. I put it on YouTube. I put it on Facebook on a bunch of different pages. I didn't even know there was like a man cave or statue cave page. There was a page that reached out to me. Can you join and put it on there? And I was like, okay. And
cool.
There's like a whole community of people that have their little man caves. A bunch of big kids, and it was just the response was great. People really enjoyed it, and I was glad that people liked it because you put this out there, you don't know how people are going to react, and then
right,
it was a good reaction.
Do you ever get those negative reactions? Those people that are like, "Oh, look at you! You're rich enough to have your Batcave." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, a little bit, not too much, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. I think the ones that bother me the most were like my girlfriend says you need to get some friends or something like that, and I was like, "What? Really? Like I got plenty of friends." But for the most part, everyone was pretty much like, "Holy mackerel!" I
think it's awesome.
You kind of went for it, didn't you? I was like, yeah, I guess I
did.
But
the attention to small detail is what is awesome. What really makes a room amazing. So, do you want to hook up your cell phone? Remember to turn it all down so you don't get the feedback, and walk us around. Show us, man. Give us a nice live tour.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let me see if I can figure out the
and
IT.
Richard Jones is even. Mark Hamill is going to do Skeletor. You said, is that the new? They're doing a new cartoon.
Is it a cartoon?
Or is it live action?
I think it's the Kevin Smith thing.
See, I didn't hear anything about this. I haven't been keeping up on news anymore.
Yeah,
I've been
Kevin
so busy.
Smith's doing I don't know if it's live action or what, but he's doing something and that's the voice is Mark Hamill for Skeletor.
Cool.
Yeah, of course. He's amazing.
I wonder if he's going to try to emulate Oppenheimer's voice or do his own take. Yes, It's a cartoon on Netflix. When is that coming out, Keith? And thanks for coming out, Keith. Keith is a good guy. He's a friend of mine, avid supporter of the show, and he's a collector. He loves all this stuff too. Transformers and things like that. As a matter of fact, I had Livio Romandelli on my show. He draws Transformers for IDW. He's an amazing Transformers artist. And he's not expensive. You should get him to do something.
Oh yeah, I love Transformers.
And play those voices for him. I think he would just love it.
All right, I'm gonna try to turn this on. Let me just make sure I don't screw this up.
Yeah, I got you. Now just make sure the sound is down. There's no feedback. Okay.
Sound on my phone.
Yeah. No, turn it down on the computer because you're going to be walking around.
All right, shut the mic off.
Yeah, getting feedback. Did you shut the mic off on the computer? Unmute your phone and mute the computer. Your phone sound is off.
Got it. Sorry. Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So this is I'm going to take you for a tour. First and most important, here's the door. Everyone keeps asking.
I'm trying to see if I can get a good come on, what are you doing? That's the best I can do. Okay, go ahead.
So here's the door. You can actually get upstairs. There's actually a basement and there's stairs, so you can leave.
Oh, cool. That's a whole. There's even more to that basement. Nice.
Oh no, yeah, that's I got all kinds of stuff in there too. But
so, did you ever think of making a bookcase for that door so that's hidden too?
We thought of it after the fact, and then we're like, oh darn it! But I guess we could always do it.
Eventually.
Maybe on the other side, maybe like a retinal scan or something.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, one of the things when I like people ask, well, how do you put books where? Like I to be honest with you, there's no rhyme or reason. I just kind of filled the wall, and I just kind of put books that I liked. A lot of these books that I had slabbed were just books that I just really like the art. You know, it's here's Art Germ. This is one of the more beautiful pictures ever created lately. Then you got the classics. You got the first Deathstrokes. Mike Zeck. I just love that. I just love Zeck.
Yes.
He's 80s was one of my favorite artists. Loved all
Wars, Punisher, Captain America.
Where you're missing something. No, how I secured them with a company called Comic Mount. These are the comic mounts. I screwed them in twice, and they clip right in, so you can pop the slab in and out. These are great to hold them up. They I actually ordered them wholesale because I needed so many. The guy was like, "Are you sure you want that many?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need about 700."
Wow.
And, but when you open up the boxes, I mean, back here, this is where the long boxes are, and all the way down, these are all doors. So came out pretty good. I got my TV over here, where I kind of just play stuff while I'm, flipping through boxes.
And you were saying you wanted to do like that 80s loop, right, with commercials?
Yeah, I have a guy who's going to give me just all the data and the old shows and just play it on a loop with old 80s commercials, just stuff I grew up with. I'm kind of recreating my life over again. Just things like that. I mean, a lot of this stuff, the reason I had them slap, I just like the artwork. I love the cover art.
Right.
The Ghost Rider glow in the dark. Those are, I don't know, those are one of the best ones of the early 90s, I think. It's a 91.
I love that cabinet up top. That's just a nice display for, you have your action figures up back, the way it fits perfectly. And then, of course, you got your statues. That's nice setup. I have that cable, by the way.
Yeah. The Bowen. Yeah, most of these are Bowen.
Yeah.
And I grabbed a bunch. Here's one by Alan, the new one. I love this one. This is by Alan Qua.
Oh wow.
It looks like Superman's popping out of a comic. It's like the first three-dimensional comic statue I've seen. And he has got a bunch more he's making. He's amazing. He's one of my new favorite.
He's also a very nice guy from what I see on the internet. I don't know him, but he's very nice. He looks very like he's a nice guy.
He's amazing. And then back here, I got the Superpower collection because this was
nice. I have that Martian Manhunter and the Hawkman open.
Yes. Oh, Hawkman was great. The wings. I used to have these toys, and I just started really getting into them lately. I'm getting them all carded, unpunched if I can. I'm trying to. That's been a little challenging trying to find those. But that's something I've been getting lately. And now this section here is like my Wolverine section. Wolverine, one of my favorite ones growing up. Not as much anymore, but I always had an affinity to Wolverine.
Nice.
The sideshow statue is just amazing. This big statue with the Hulk.
Where's your Nightcrawler section? Damn it!
He teleported out.
Yeah.
This is actually the first statue I ever got. I've bought many statues. This one's, I don't even know what company made this. It's from France. Like,
wow.
I got this like a long time ago. I've never seen it again, but it's not, I don't think it's that rare, but I just love the brown outfit for Wolverine. And that was like the first statue I ever got.
Speaking of Bowen, I actually spoke to him. And he's interested in doing the show, so I have to reach out to him again in February to see about getting him on. So hopefully I'll have him on the show as a guest. That'll be cool.
That would be cool, definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely show. I'll definitely see if he can autograph one of my statues. That would be neat. Send one in to get autographed. That's something that most people aren't doing. Statue autographs. A little cumbersome to send one in.
Yeah.
This is my favorite statue. This is the Batman Who Laughs from Sideshow.
Yeah.
Detail on this one is just ridiculous. He's pretty scary, actually. And this character's been, because he's the opposite of Batman, kind of grabbed me, because when he came out, I just really liked the opposite characters, and so I started really getting into Batman Who Laughs. So this whole wall is all Batman Who Laughs.
Wow.
Most of them are, I think 99% of them are 9/8. And when they came out with the Batman Who Laughs series and the Dark Metal, the Dark Knights Metal series, I got them all autographed by the artists.
Oh, so cool.
That was a challenge trying to chase them all down. I think I'm only missing 2 artists that haven't come to the US since they've done it to get autographs from.
Who's that?
Who are the 2 I'm missing? Sir, the cover artist for this, which is Serge, I can't say his last name.
Okay.
Of course, you're asking me names I can't pronounce. I don't want to butcher their names. And then, what is it? No, not Merker. I've got Merker and Dolfo. It was, I'll remember it. And there's one, he's from Argentina, and I can't seem to find out where he's at. He's never comes, and I've reached out to him, and he just said, I don't really come to the U.S. much.
By the way, Bradney asked, are you selling any of your graded comics?
What do you want to pay for it?
There you go. Talk to him, Bradney.
Yeah,
Byron said that Alan Qua is an awesome guy, and he's so nice. Keith said your Iceman is so cool. Charles said that Wolverine Hulk is very nice. I had that Wolverine Hulk on pre-order, and then I just had to bail on it for some reasons. Keith says he has the Mike Golden. He had Michael Golden sign his mini Rogue from Bowen, which is cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and then Richard Jones said he loves that Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, that one really got me. I just really liked it. So I've been all about the Batman Who Laughs. I'm waiting for a Bizarro statue.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
They haven't made a big one. There's only small ones. So if you got Bowen on there, big Bizarro statue. You got one sold already, buddy.
Did you like the Alex Ross version of Bizarro in the what was it, Justice, or what was that series he did?
Oh yeah, that was in which one was that series?
Was it It was called Justice, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, that was a great one. Anything by Alex Ross is amazing.
I always thought that would be a nice, huge sideshow statue, the Alex Ross from Justice Bizarro.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. I think that character is great just because I'm not the biggest fan of Superman, and I just like the opposite. So
right,
kind of why I like that. So the room's basically this long line, and then it comes to the side portion right here, and there's more bins right here. So I couldn't fit all of them over there, so there's more over here too. That's probably the first I'm showing anyone this.
You know what Bowen I have? I have the Thor swinging the hammer. I love that Bowen. I have that in my basement in a case.
Yeah, those are great. I think a lot of these reason I did this is because the statues were just sitting in boxes because I was so afraid of it to getting broken. So I said, you know, I gotta make something. I actually have a Batcave. This is a newer one, but I got a
cool
Migo Batcave.
By the way, Chris Borman had said that he asked if you have any custom statues, and then he said that Troy McDevitt, did a quarter scale Bizarro.
Very, very good. I got to check that one out. Troy McDevitt. Thank you. And this is, I saw this, the Darkness from the movie.
I love the Darkness. One of my second favorite villain after Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, I got him right next to Vader, actually.
I know.
And it's funny.
Tim Curry, that was amazing.
Yeah, my dad used to have us watch that, and he used to scare the crap out of me. He's like, "What?" Yeah.
See, the thing is, that movie wasn't that good, but man, was he a killer villain! Just awesome.
Yeah, I saw this one at a show, and I had to have it, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
I went to the New York Comic Con. It was the second I think they ever had or something, and there was a guy. He had the Darkness sitting on a throne with the unicorn horn, and I wanted it so bad. It was $300, but at the time, $300 might have been $3,000 for me. Yeah. And I didn't get it, and I wanted to, and now I think it goes for over $1,000. And I was like, God darn it, I should have got that one.
Yeah, he's just I think I wish they would use him in another film or something. Here's the Skeletor statue. This is by MFA. I would check them out. They make this guy actually lights up.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's a let me see if I can turn it on. But there we go. So kind of see it lit up now. You can see some of the different things. The gem lights up. He has different heads. He has a Keldor head, and he has
cool.
You can see the eyes lit up. And you know, this wall's my Bizarro and reverse flash wall. One of the things I like getting is I like original art, like the sketch covers. So I got a couple. I got my Ed
McGuinness.
This is a Miko Ceylon.
Yeah, Miko's a cool guy. I got a lot of him on my jams.
Another Miko. He does them so fast at a show.
Yeah.
That you just he charges $100 for it. I mean, that's such a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, he's drawn Apocalypse for me, Cable. He's done some great work for me.
Yeah, he's great, and he's a really nice guy to talk to. And
yeah,
he's working, he's talking to you. He's a good guy. Here's the pole, so you can see coming up. Can't really see up there right now, but there's upstairs. Cool. Then this is coming back around the room. I got a lot of McFarlane stuff here signed. This is my favorite McFarlane covers. I think these are underrated. The Detective series. I
agree.
It was a 4-issue series, but the first one he didn't do, so I didn't bother.
Right.
Even though that's a cool cover too. But I got art.
Third cover is my favorite.
What's that?
The third one to the right is my favorite.
That one? Oh, that one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I got that was probably my second or third book I got as a kid. That one's what grabbed me. Reading and stuff and seeing Batman with a gun, because you always wanted him to have a gun, and then you forgot that he actually did have a gun at the beginning.
Chris said Angelo Valletta produces the Bizarro kit by Troy McDevitt.
Thank you.
So check that out. Yeah, and you can go back to the chat to see it.
Okay. That's going to be great to
Spider-Man.
Thank you. Here's Spider-Man. This is more of a Venom area, but I got this. Right. I got the Spider-Man statue. I won it in a raffle or waffle. I'm gonna say waffle.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of got a lot of the bigger things that I got. Is just started like chipping in, and next thing you know, you win a couple, and you're like, all right, got me addicted to that too. Gambling.
There was a J. Scott Campbell one I wanted, and there was one that Kotobukiya put out years ago that I really liked.
A statue?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I have two. I have a Venom statue from Kotobukiya that I absolutely love, and I have a Carnage one as well.
This right here, this is by Roger Andrews. He's a local artist. He remember Superhero Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked for Hasbro. And his art was used for the Superhero Squad.
Oh, cool!
So some original art that he had done back in the day, and I grabbed it from him. Really awesome, nice. Really awesome guy. I love this one by Mark Brooks. I like
Mark
his
Brooks
art.
is an amazing artist.
His art just pops to me. It's just so clean. And then one of my favorite books from Zach.
Zach, yeah.
And then this is actually right here. This is George Perez's first book. He did an interior page. So
Really?
I had Perez autograph the first Deathlock. Just because it's his first. I like getting their first books sometimes. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find.
Right.
And then back behind the door, which sometimes you don't see, is the Death of Superman little area where I had Jurgens and reading sign.
Right.
And I like this Inhuckley deceased variant. Came out pretty cool. And then I got the Darkness because I like the Darkness. I always liked that from Top Cow.
Mark Silvestri is probably my Mark Silvestri and V. Ken Marion are my favorite artists.
Yeah, Silvestri on X-Men was one of my favorite runs for art.
Nothing beats his work on Cyberforce for me, though. I mean, people complained about the writing of those books. I thought Cyberforce, I would love to see that. I know he just brought it back again, but he didn't do the interiors. The book, they change it up. I would love to see them just bring back the exact same team from the 90s, him draw it, and let's go. Whatever the writing is, I'm still going to watch that. I'm going to check that out.
Oh, this is what I got for Christmas. My wife got me this. Got me the Bat chair.
Nice.
This right here, this is something that this is instead of the dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
Supervillains playing poker.
Very cool.
Roger Andrew did this for me because I requested him to do something custom. You got Bizarro actually playing with Uno cards and Clue cards. Who's an idiot. And Infinity Gauntlet's on the table getting gambled, and Boba Fett's winning. He's dropping the ace right there. So
nice.
So I kind of made Boba Fett win. And then it's right down here. This is a treasure of mine. This is the first comic I ever got, but this is the production page. I'm still looking for the original art for it, but I got the production page. So
very cool. Hey, what is it? 323.
Yes, 323.
If anybody has or knows of anybody looking to sell original pages from Flash 323, have them reach out to Jay Williams.
Please do. So I'm going to switch back to the other thing now. Hopefully I don't screw this up.
Yeah.
But that was a tour. Worked out pretty good. I didn't screw it up too bad. Hopefully
no, it went well. It went good. No feedback. We were good.
All right, let me shut off the phone.
I have to say, I was seeing a lot of websites that deal with secret passages, like you said. There were some that were unmute your mic. Yeah. There were some that there was one that was a chair, and the seat of the chair, you lifted up the cushion, and it was a slide that went down.
Oh,
now
wow.
I don't know if I'd feel
cool.
I don't know if I'd feel comfortable sitting on that chair, though, wondering if this ever gives in. Am I taking a dive? But
hey, you got to try it. If for that, I'd try it. Oh, well, might be my last try, but go for it.
Yeah. Byron says, epic tour, man.
Thanks, Byron. Byron, when it gets better, you got to come check it out. Check out the pool. Check out the room, the cave. And, I do hope to share it with more people. I think COVID probably made my wife feel a little bit more comfortable. I wasn't going to have a huge line down the street just yet, so that way it'll ease her into it when all the people start coming to watch it.
So now that you got this set, I mean, I know you have to alphabetize and order your comics. That's the boring part. That's the pain in the ass work part, and that's why you have kids. You slave labor them. But
I did it yesterday, actually. My daughter was bored, and she's like, "Well, I have nothing to do." I'm like, "I got something for you." She did a whole box for me. So.
You want ice cream? Put this in order. Now,
you got it. She did it.
Nice. Good kids. Is there kind of a sadness, a depression, a disappointment, a down now that because you spend all this time like, I can't wait to get this room. I can't wait to get this room. And as much as you love the room and it's exciting, like the project is done. Is there a letdown, or is there like, now I'm going to work on something else, and your wife is like, hell no?
The second one is more like, what next? I mean, we're still tweaking it. You know, the glass cabinet, I had the He-Man guys up there instead of the superpowers, and I switched it. So, you know, now you're moving stuff around. You know, I do feel glad it's done because it was a lot of work and it was tiring. I mean, to put all the clips up, I mean, there's 2 screws per clip. There's
And you got to measure it out.
I used a laser level, and I put on some. I listened to AFI and listened to some rock on my headphones late at night, and all you could probably hear in my house zzz, 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 from the screw gun. And it took me weeks, and I stay up. And I don't sleep much, so it's fine. But
Me neither.
It's like
It's tedious, though.
It was tedious, but I was having a good time with it. The hardest part wasn't screwing it in; it was measuring.
Right.
I got this wall. I want them equidistant. How many can I fit? You know, and you know, of course, nothing lines up right. And you're doing the math, and you're like, it's late at night, and you're like, so you do it, and then you put all the marks, and then you're like, oh, they're all wrong, and you got to erase them and do it all again. But you know, it was fun. I had a little system going, and then once I got into it and started doing it, it was great. And then I had all the clips up, and I had no books, and I just brought the kids down. I said, all right, let's figure out where the books go. And that was kind of really fun to do with the kids, because this one look cool over here, and we kind of just moved them around. And
so are your kids into this? Are they into this as well?
yeah, my son's definitely into it. My daughter's into it a little bit. You know, it comes and goes for them. I mean, I don't think they realize that I don't think they realize this is normal for most people, that they don't have, you know, this type of stuff in their homes. But you know, they've always been around it. They know they can get to it. So they probably take it a little for granted a little bit, but no, they like it. My daughter really liked the the Age of Conan series, Belit. If I said that right. I
guess.
And, yeah, and there's some books that she really enjoys. My son's really into Masters of the Universe right now with the new Walmart toys. Well, they're not just Walmart.
You know what you have to get him? Dark Horse put out a hardcover book of all the comics that came with the Masters of the Universe.
I have that.
Yeah, I love that book.
One, yeah,
because that's the He-Man I love. As much as I liked the cartoon, it wasn't He-Man. He was a barbarian, and Tila was a sorcerer. Mm-hmm. You know, and it wasn't like this. He had the axe and he had the sword, and there was no sorceress.
Yep.
You know, a Gray Skull, and I think even Gray Skull, if I remember correctly, was not the good castle.
Yeah. Well,
I missed that.
Yeah, it's funny, we were playing it today actually, and we watch it. We're watching the show, and the sorceress is a pain in the neck. She can't do anything. She's just
whiny.
Oh, help me, He-Man, He-Man. And I'm like, what? I thought you were powerful. She's always like in a trouble. And we make fun of her. My 8-year-old and I are like, oh, the sorceress is the worst. And we tease the sorceress how bad she is. So, and yeah, the original books are great. Yeah, I gave him that book to look at. He looked at it a little bit. He likes looking at my comic cards the most. I have like the books and the pages and the old Marvel and DC series. He loves looking at those because, I mean, he's getting into which characters who. Actually, the best toy he's kind of grown out of it, but the Imaginext made these little guys, and I love those. And they made a Legion of Doom lair, and
oh really?
It is the coolest toy. And it's just this simple little thing, and the guys don't do much, but they're great. And so when he was into that, I was loving it. I was looking at all the stores for all the new ones when they had a new character. We're getting blind bags, hoping to get, you know, Black Manta or whoever was coming out. And I mean, you got the whole Legion of Doom and this Challenge of the Super Friends. You can line them up with these little guys. So he has some great toys that he likes playing with on his own. And we, you know, one thing that I tell both of them, this is our room. This isn't my room. This is our room. And he's like, it is? And I'm like, yeah.
Just don't touch the statues.
Just don't touch it. Yes, it's our room, but you can't go in it. No, they're very good with it. I mean, they know what not to do. And I don't really want to hoard all this. I want to share it with them.
Sure.
If they want to read something, it's fine. But I don't want to push it on them either. I don't want to be like,
right.
Yeah. oh, you have to read books. I wanted them to enjoy it on their own and find something they like.
Right.
I mean, they think I like Bizarro is kind of weird, but they like the other stuff.
So liking Bizarro is a little bizarre. I gotcha.
But I like them. It's more my dislike of Superman is why I like Bizarro.
But you have a Superman glass you were just drinking out of.
Well, they don't make a Bizarro glass. It won't hold water.
See, I'm a big Superman fan.
I like him, but I thought they kind of gave him too many powers. That was my one thing with him.
Well, by the way, Byron said he's staying up in Alfred's room.
Amen.
You can do math only when you're wearing sandals. I don't know what that means. It must be an inside joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you will never use algebra again. And
unfortunately, I use it all the time.
And Keith, we were talking about this before when him and I were, off air. Yeah, the 2000 show. We loved the story of Keldor and Skeletor and how he got to be Skeletor. Yeah. And I also was mentioning that the bad guys were actually kicking their rear ends in that first double episode pilot, and it was nice to see villains that win because, a hero is only as good as the villain. If the villain is not a threat or a challenge, how heroic can you really be? So I agree with you on that. But then it started to get kiddie. They started to write it more childish as it went along.
Well, they're selling toys at the same time. That's what happens.
Yep.
They forget.
Keith was saying the cross-gen comics of He-Man were also cool. So.
Yeah, they were. They were very cool.
See, I never looked at the cross-gen comics.
Yeah, you and I were talking about the origin of Trapjaw book.
Yeah.
Earlier, and that was written by Kirkman, and those are great. There's 4 books, and it's each one's the origin of a different He-Man villain, and those stories were great, one-shot stories. You didn't realize that these characters had really no background when you were growing up. You had background because you made it. You took the character and you're like, oh, you made the background. But they really didn't have background.
Did you actually make that noise as a kid? Oh
yeah, I do the voices. Actually, when we play, my son goes, "You be Skeletor," and I'm like, yes, and like he can't do the voice yet, so he always wants me to be Skeletor because I always make him say silly things, but
my daughters would make me snort and be Hordak. I would snort every other word, and then they were like, "Be Catra," and then Scorpia, and so I'm being, and then Montana, he has that voice like this,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And they would like just do all the voices, and every 5 seconds, and then Grizzlor, and they like switch the names, and they would be they have a She-Ra sword, and we would just play.
Oh yeah, well, She-Ra's coming out in the new Wave 3, so that's pretty good.
I hate this new She-Ra cartoon. Oh God, I hate it.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch.
I'm like, how did you take a sci-fi fantasy where she's leading a rebellion against the Horde and make her this whiny teenager with teen angst BS, and then all the other nonsense they threw in there that I don't even think kids should be even dealing with right now. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I don't know if you watched the Toys That Made Us series.
No, everybody tells me I should. I never get to watch anything.
Oh, I mean, all this stuff that we grew up with. I mean, I think everyone thinks their generation is the greatest because it was your experience. But for some reason, our generation keeps getting copied and copied and copied, and they keep redoing it. Maybe because it was pretty awesome. Maybe because it was awesome. Maybe that's my proof. But I mean, the toys that we grew up with, had shows to go along with the toy series, and that was kind of a first. They sold the toys on a half-hour commercial to us, and the series kind of delves into that. But one of the things they said in the series was once they introduced She-Ra, they were trying to get your sister to be able to play with you, and a lot of the kids are like, I'm done. That's exactly what happened to me. Exactly. As soon as my sisters had She-Ra and they're like, I can play with you now. I'm like, nah, I'm all set with He-Man. That ruined He-Man for me. Even though She-Ra wasn't that bad, but the guy with the heart on his chest and he's like with a mustache. He looked
like a porn star.
He looked like Burt Reynolds. And I was like, who's this guy? Like, he's like a Care Bear. I didn't want to play with it. So it kind of ruined it for me. And I moved on to other stuff. And I kind of like missed like the second generation of He-Man and stuff like that because of it. But it's a great series because it talks about the production and how it like everything happened at the time. You had no idea about it because,
Right.
you know, let's face it, when we were younger,
We didn't know the business side.
no, and you didn't have a backstage pass like you do now with the internet and all the different productions you see about stuff. You know, you can see how it was made the next day. Actually, the first book I got this book, and I got it because I liked Yellow Flash.
Right. Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash or
Yeah,
whatever.
and I didn't go back to the comic book store for a couple months or maybe a year. When I was 6, I was looking for Yellow Flash everywhere. Does anyone know what happened? That was issue 323. Do you know what happened in 324? They killed him. I looked for 30 years for that stupid guy. I had no idea that the guy was dead because I didn't have Wikipedia back then, and no one knew what the hell I was talking about as a little kid. I want to meet Yellow Flash. They didn't no idea. No one could talk to me about it. So I was looking everywhere. Finally, I got some back issues, and I finally read it, and I went, oh, they killed him on me. No wonder I couldn't find the guy. And here's the next issue. I actually got it here because I thought that was a funny story. Here's the next issue. He's dead. So I finally get a character I like, and then they kill him off on me. Not till
it's comics, they don't stay dead.
Well, 30 years later, though. I mean, like Bizarro died after the Alan, the Man of Tomorrow, Last Man of Tomorrow series. Bizarro killed right before Crisis. Bizarro kills himself. Then he's not around for a while. The two characters, maybe that's why I like them. The two characters were just not around. I couldn't find them until later with like Jeff Johns brings back Reverse Flash, with Zoom a little bit before that. And then they started bringing Bizarro back in the Empire Joker series. And I was like, finally, yes, my two characters I liked were back. And then they kill him off at the end of those series too. I'm like, oh, come on, like killing me here. But those are, back as a kid, trying to figure this stuff out, word of mouth, you didn't have, unless your friend read the other book, how'd you figure out what was going on in the series? Now we have, access to everything. It's great. I mean, I think it's great. I think, comics has gone through a second renaissance lately, with everything, books, the movies. But I think if you take the movies out, just comics, the art alone, there's just a new level of artistic, just
quality and expression.
The cover artists. I mean, I know some people don't like cover artists, but these guys are masters. Lucio Perillo he's painting stuff in Florence, Italy, and it's making it on covers. Like he's a master. I mean, I'll show you a couple stuff he did for me, but there's so many great artists right now. And there's always been good artists, but there's just like a ton of them, and they're all over the world. They're everywhere, and these guys are just pumping out great stuff. Like we mentioned, Miku Suwan, Alan Kwan, John Jang. He's coming out. I mean,
dude, he did these Transformers covers. He did a Firefly that is just friggin' believable.
Wait, I got it here. I was going to show you because you said what are some good covers you like. Look at there it is.
Yeah, that is incredible. Just turn it to the side. Yeah, that is. I told him, I was like, John, this is freaking incredible.
This one,
and the Serpentor, the Snake Eyes, and the Storm Shadow.
I got the Storm Shadow here too, and there's these two together are amazing. It doesn't even look like comics anymore. It looks like photographs.
I know.
Of people. The stuff is just, we go from like this older stuff, which I like. It's goofy, but it's one dimensional compared to the other stuff.
Right.
It looks like I can put my hand through the page and Firefly is going to bite it off.
Byron said that when I do interviews, I always feature the creator's picture because when I was young, I never knew what John Buscema, Steve Ditko, etc. looked like. Well, that's true because unless you went to a convention and met them, there wasn't social media. There was no Wikipedia. You didn't know who the hell you were looking at or who was who.
You
And
thought
just
they
going,
looked like the drawings in the back of the page.
yeah,
But
right.
they drew themselves in little cartoons, and that's what I thought it looked like.
Real quick, just jumping back to the 80s, you made a point that I wanted to touch on, and Keith was talking about the Inhumanoids cartoon.
Oh yeah.
I will second and prove why the 80s isn't just a great generation because we say so, but it really is. Besides the fact that everybody does go back to those properties, you and I could probably name about 30 cartoons off the top of our head that are just legendary, awesome cartoons that if you put on today would probably still capture an audience.
Yep,
I mean, Battle of
easy.
the Planets, Voltron, the vehicle Voltron, Transformers,
Force
G.I.
5.
Joe, Force 5,
All
Mask,
5 of them.
Mask,
Silverhawks.
Silverhawks, Black Star, Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
Awesome
I love that
cartoon.
one.
Yeah, I just named about 10 or 12 right off the top of my head, and I can name a bunch more. She-Ra and He-Man and Thundercats and
G.I. Joe.
what was it? Land Sharks, or what the hell was the one? The Thundercats Silverhawks guys did it. Bob Camp and all them. Tiger Sharks. That's it.
Tiger Sharks. Yep.
Remember
Centurions.
Yes. Do you remember Bionic 6?
Visionaries.
Yes. And do you remember? And that doesn't even count
Bionic
like
6.
And it doesn't even count like the cartoons that you like Scrooge McDuck and stuff. But
yeah.
Do you remember Super 7 with Isis and all of them? I have that on VHS, so we have that.
You have to let me borrow that. Put it on the loop here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And and Herculoids, which when they redid it in the 80s, and Space Ghost when they redid it in the 80s, and that's the other thing too why the 80s was a great generation, and this is something people don't talk about. It was a generation that, as much as it produced some great stuff, it also made sure you knew about the stuff that came before, 70s, 60s. Today's generation only knows today's stuff. When you and I grew up, we knew our parents' stuff. Whether it was watching The Little Rascals, Leave It to Beaver, and Addams Family, which is regular for us.
Yep.
Also, the cartoons they grew up. We knew the 60s Scooby-Doo. We knew the 60s
reruns. There were reruns in between all the shows that we watched, and you would filter that in.
And Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny and all that. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. It's only what's out now. They're not introducing children to past generations' stuff, and I think they're suffering for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I think talking with you, our kids aren't suffering. They know our stuff. We put it on and they love it. And what is this?
Thundar the Barbarian.
Yeah.
That is a cartoon that if you turned into a movie with the right production and good acting, that was an epic. Sword. Yeah, but even just remember the beginning of the intro was climactic. It was amazing. It was like, this is, this post-apocalyptic, and the moon ripped apart and the earth, and it was this story and the music. And I remember I told you, my daughters are 8 and 6, and they're in the back seat last year. We're driving. They go, dun, 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 dun. I was like, are you singing Thundar? I was so proud.
Yeah, you did it right.
And Chris is right. There was 4 TV channels back then, and we had all that content, and now we have hundreds, and we don't have crap.
Oh yeah. Well,
and yes, Brian, I love the 60s Herculoids too. Yes,
and you had to wait for the shows to be on too, which was different. And
waking up Saturday morning with your bowl of cereal. That was the one day you wanted to get up early. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was the only time I didn't have cable TV where I lived. I lived in the boondocks, and my grandmother would pick me up and bring me to her house, and she had cable after school. And I used to love when Grandma picked me up because she'd take me to Chow World. If I could con her into getting me a He-Man guy, I would. And then I'd go home and I'd watch Force 5. I'd watch whatever show I could watch, and I would
Sectoids.
I would absorb. Oh yeah, Sectars.
That's it.
Yeah, I would absorb it, and because I had to memorize it because I couldn't watch it again for like a week, so I would run that over and over again in my head, and I would just sit there and imagine the show because I couldn't watch it all the time, and I didn't know Force 5 was 5 different robots for the longest time. I just, whatever day I was there, I'd see a different one. And I just said, why did they change the robot? Who knows? It looks all the same when you realize that, you kind of like, oh, it's the same characters. They jump into different robots. But those were the shows that just like really, the kids talked about, everyone, and Chris is right. There's 4 channels. Every kid watched those shows. Did you see what He-Man did? Yep. Did you see that you watched the same shows and you talked about it? So like it was like through everybody. I mean,
I just remember they pissed me off because they put Black Star on the same time as Spider-Man's Amazing Friends on a different channel, and I was like, I have to sacrifice one. No.
Yeah. No DVRs back then, that's for sure. And yeah, I remember when you could VHS and record stuff. That was the greatest thing. And the thing that I got recorded was the Batman 66 for me. My dad's friend would do it, and my dad would come home with it, and I could watch it.
Nice.
And that was the thing he would record for me.
Do you remember Thing Ring, Do Your Thing? The kid who put the ring on became the Thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was all great.
I didn't read Fantastic Four. I thought that's how Thing got the rocks on him for the longest time. I had no idea that wasn't the real way.
You know what I just recently picked up for my daughter because she loves my 6-year-old. I go, Captain K-Man! And she's like, Daddy, do it again.
Yeah, I was screaming that for my kids one day, and they just looking at me funny, and I'm like, it's a show, but I didn't show it.
Oh, they love it. I remember a cartoon, the new Shmoo. The new Shmoo. Nobody remembers that cartoon.
Yes, the Shmoo. I do remember the new Shmoo.
Yes, he was like Gloop and Gleep from the Herculoids, but he was white and he had this little mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I talk like this.
Yes, yeah. I remember him. He was on early. He was on like really. Shmoo. He was on super early. That's all I remember. It's like your eyes were like, I can barely open, but I'm gonna turn the TV on, and you had to go real close to the TV and snap the channel.
And Channel 2 at 8 in the morning had a Superman cartoon that nobody remembers that I loved as well. It was on Channel 2 at 8 a.m. and nobody remembered it. But I just remember the musts for me were the Hulk and Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, Black Star until it was on the same time, Thundar and Dungeons and Dragons. And I was a happy man. And then after school, you got to go home to Thundercats, Silverhawks, G.I. Joe, and He-Man.
Transformers, too. Yep.
And Transformers. Yeah, I mean, are you kidding? Yeah. It was like we had a cool childhood. And then on top of that, after the Saturday morning cartoons, they had the Kung Fu movie drive-in theater.
Oh, yeah.
We watched those awesome Kung Fu films, the Seven Storms and all, and the Flying Guillotine. And I mean, man, it was just the best.
My roommate in college, we end up getting like just randomly, put into the same dorm, and he's like, "Do you like Kung Fu?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Do you like comics?" And he was like, "Yeah." We're like, "Awesome!" Like the Wonder Powers twins activate. Next thing you know, we're having Kung Fu watching nights in our room, and there's all these other people. Like we're watching Sonny Chiba. We're watching like all these.
They were like they would be flipping and flying like superheroes. Those were superhero movies before we got to see superhero movies.
Yep. Oh yeah, those were great. I love those movies. Yeah, they did it right. I think Japan, they did it right. Right now, some of the anime I've been really watching is great, but you can't show the kids. It's just I like Attack on Titan right now.
I watched the first episode. I heard it was really good though.
It's messed up, but it's good. But
My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't think I liked one. I thought it'd be too kiddish, but that one's a really good show. I just finished watching Death Note.
I've heard that was good.
Yeah, I mean the melodrama and all those things are it's like Dragon Ball. Like it takes 10 minutes just to get through a scene.
5 Deadly Venoms. Yes, Keith. Damn right.
Oh, nice one, Keith. That's a great one. Oh man, there's just so many great things that we did. We did grow up in a great era, but we
still found time to play video games and go outside and play sports. We did it all.
Yep. Yeah. Read comics, do video games, get your homework done, kind of. And you'd find a way to do it one way or the other, and then and somehow you remember all of it. That was the other thing. Before like Wikipedia and all this, I have a pretty good memory. My friends would always ask me like, they would try to reminisce. What was this? What was that? And, they'd call me at work and they'd be all drinking and saying, hey, what was He-Man's cat's name? And I'm like, what? And I'm like with a client, and they're like, what's Key-Man's cat's name? And I'm like, Battle Cat. And they're like, no, before. I'm like,
Cringer.
Cringer. And you can hear him going, ha, 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 I knew he'd know it. Ha, ha. And they hang up. Like, the heck was that? And then I call them. They're like, oh, we're drinking. We were talking about it. We said, if anyone knows it, it'd be Jay. And they would call me. But now they don't call anymore because they can just do it on their phone. And they don't need me anymore. But there was a point in time where I was very useful for stupid trivia.
Me too. Me too. By the way, Keith brings up Fist of North Star, which I still own. I have the original movie, which is great. And I was about to say, don't forget Ninja Scroll, and he mentioned that too.
Yeah,
I have
Scroll.
that. I have Ninja Scroll and Fist of North Star on DVD, the original movies.
Yep. Was it Jibe Kumagami? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, something like that. I also have the original Vampire Hunter D.
Yep.
And what was it, Super 8 or something like that?
And then he said wrestling too. We had wrestling. We had. I just showed my son wrestling. I showed him the Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior match. We watched the whole thing, and he loved it. And on New Year's Eve, him and my nephew took their shirts off and started wrestling. And my wife's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, I showed him WWF the other day," and she's like, the new stuff? I said, no, the old stuff. And then we watched Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus
He was my
Macho
favorite.
Man.
Ricky the Dragon was my favorite, and then The Undertaker. And you know what's funny? We watched Tom and Jerry blow each other up. We watched all these action cartoons. We watched wrestling. You slam with a chair and the razor blade on the head. And we didn't beat anybody up. We didn't burn cats. We didn't kill people. And we didn't kill ourselves. What the hell happened? What happened?
I don't know. Tipper Gore started it when she was like, "Hey, we can't listen to music," but it really, it did. We were fine. I don't know. And if you talk to my dad was like blowing stuff up as a kid, and he had
firecrackers in your little army guy.
Yeah, and he was like, I had a Davy Crockett hat and
BB guns,
and we were
shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah. So my dad was great with stuff like that. He really wasn't into comics, but he was like, oh yeah, you like the old stuff? We watched The Little Rascals. We watched all that on reel to reel, and I had a jukebox growing up in my house. I still have. I actually got the actual jukebox back. It doesn't work yet, but I got to get it to work. So 45 records. So he always liked to share his childhood, and I thought it was just me like sharing all the 80s stuff for my kids, but more and more of people like us are, showing the kids like these things because they're not getting it. I mean, but I do have to say my kids are introducing me to some new stuff. There's some funny shows that they watch. There's a show called like Clarence. My son watches. It's the weirdest show ever, but it's hilarious. I watch it with him. It's pretty funny, but they don't bonk each other on the head. It's more just like goofy jokes and stuff like that. But they are, there's some good stuff, but at the end of the day, they keep remaking our stuff because our stuff.
But they keep screwing our stuff up. It's like, do it right. But Keith said, he mentions there's a live action Battle of the Planets movie, and I didn't know they did did they do a live action of Star Blazers?
I think so.
Oh wow.
I didn't watch it, but I think I heard they did. But there's some good stuff, but it's I don't know. I just hope one day that they will allow more people like John Favreau, who definitely would have been hanging out with us playing toys back in the day to be.
Let me tell you, him and Dave Filoni, God bless them. Thank God for them.
They played with Star Wars toys.
I'm telling you now, the first thing they need to do for a major motion picture, in my opinion, just to start out, don't throw them right into a trilogy. Have them do a follow-up to Han Solo's movie. And I'll tell you why. That movie really wasn't bad. It just came out after everybody was pissed off with that piece of crap movie, Episode 8. Hey, Heather, thanks for coming out. If it didn't come out, if they weren't mad about Episode 8, that would have been done better. I also think they need to recast the guy who played Han. But it wasn't a bad movie.
Yep,
it had good potential to continue. I mean, Darth Maul was back and all that. I say those two guys should do a follow-up to Han Solo. And, I mean, the things they could do in that world with the scoundrels and the scum, and then, of course, Darth Maul being part of the, head of the Black Sun or whatever the hell it is. And man, that's where I think they should start because it's akin to, to this world with Mandalorian. It's all the bounty hunters and all that stuff. And you could bring in Boba Fett to that or something like that, because I think they should, if they started there, that would just be huge.
I hate to say this, but I don't really care about movies anymore. I'd rather watch a series. I'd rather watch 13 episodes of an hour. That's a lot more material than 3 hours.
And I do want more than 8 episodes of half hour, eight half-hour episodes of man. That's the one show, that and Cobra Kai, which I'm going to watch after we're off tonight with my wife, are the 2 shows that we look forward to watching. Everything else is like, all right, it's cool. If we watch it, we watch it. If we don't, we don't.
Yeah.
There's only 2 shows that like we're like, oh, we got to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few, you can't wait for them to come out and you're going to binge watch, but it's so much material. You can just go, I'll watch this, I'll watch that. And, you just kind of, the problem is you get stuck on it. You're like, I can't watch the new show because I had to finish this other one. Everyone in the world's now realizing what it's like to be a comic book collector. You get a run. You're like, I got to fill out. I have to get the whole run. Like there's a hole in my run. I got to get it fixed. You got to fill it.
It would drive me nuts when the comic shop missed one of my books in a pull, and I have all but like it's issues, 12, 13, 14, 12, 13, 15, 17, and I'm like, no, I can't read these yet.
Yeah,
I'm missing chapters.
Yeah, you can't read without going. You can't. No. You got to read them all, and then you wait, and then you get it, and you're like, "Oh, that wasn't even good. Damn it!" Like, I read after law school. I hadn't read comics in years because I was just reading awful legal crap, and I read all the X-Men in order, everyone, and because I started picking up X-Men, it was right after the No More Mutants 198. And I'm like, what the hell happened? I had no idea what happened to the universe. So I said, I'll just go back and read them. Well, I started with number 1. I went all the way back to 63. And I had them all. So I just read them all in order, including all the crossovers and including everything. It took me 2 years. And after all that, I still had questions. It didn't make sense still. Like there was some really cool things when you read the whole run of X-Men.
Right. I have.
But then there's stuff that like, what they they missed this. I almost got myself like correcting Wikipedia pages one day because I was like, wait a minute, it's all fresh in my mind. How did they do this? But there was some cool foreshadowing they did over the years, and you wouldn't realize it unless you read them all in like a big run. But you're like, wow, they in the 90s, they did a series called The 12, which was a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they foreshadowed that in like X Factor number 14. And then it was this one-off book where a Sentinel comes and like attacks Cyclops. It was just Cyclops versus a Sentinel book. And in it, they were like about to destroy Cyclops. And he goes, cannot do it, one of the 12. And it just mentioned it. But if I read it back then, and I wouldn't have known what they're talking about. If I had already read it, I went, oh, no way. And that was like 10 years between those books.
Well, because there was also a time where when they wrote comics, they had these long epic stories. I mean, Chris Claremont alone had subplots that lasted for decades.
Yeah.
But now nobody has an attention span. Like you mentioned, Ultimate Warrior versus the Hulk Hogan before. They can't sit through a wrestling match that long anymore. Their wrestling matches are 10 minutes at the most.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's the same with these plot lines. They want short stories now and they also want to write for trade paperbacks.
Speaking of wrestling, I pulled this book out because this is new by Kale. I can't say his last name, but this is a great book. I just love this cover because it's a wrestling cover. And
cool.
Yeah, they're coming out with some cool ideas. He did a couple other wrestling ones, but this one was the one that jumped out at me. It's because of Venom beating up Spider-Man. But, mixing in, there's another example of how wrestling and everything we grew up with is awesome. They're bringing it back in every piece of our history. I pulled out some other books to show you. I know you're asking some of the books you wanted to see. I don't know which ones you want me to show you, but some of the ones that were off the wall, the holes, that's the ones I pulled off.
Okay, let's check them out.
Let me see what I got. So some of the grails that I got, my grails in my collection, obviously first Reverse Flash.
I have that.
Yeah, this one.
I have it raw.
Yeah, I had a couple raw, and then I traded with somebody to get this one. This was a great book. I just always wanted it. It's kind of hard to find. I mean, now it is. But for a while, it was pretty cheap to get. But now it went up there. Every key has jumped in the last few years. Now this
book, a lot of speculation now. So
yeah, this is just hard to find. This is because it came out. This is the first Bizarro. Try finding this. This is hard. These are hard to find.
Nice
There's
book.
the highest. I actually watched an auction last year, and the highest graded one's a 9.2, and it went for $26,000 in Heritage.
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, if I wasn't building the house, and I would have, instead of this room, I would have done that. If I know at the time, I didn't know it was the highest graded one. That would have been my grill. But I have this one. I had a friend help me get that one. That's a great book. Now this book I won in a raffle.
Oh boy.
I won it. Now this is the best part. I won it, and then I traded it with somebody, and then he raffled it again, and I won the same book back again.
Wow, aren't you lucky?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I wasn't really trying to have this book, and I wasn't really planning on it, but now I'm keeping it because it's meant to be.
That's not.
It's meant to be with me, I guess. But yeah,
Wow.
it's a great book. My buddy Joey traded with me after I won it, and then he decided to raffle it, and I won that back again, which kind of looks
crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. This is a book
Tell us, how about you raffle it?
Yeah.
This book has jumped big time in the last 5 years. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, this book. I had a raw one from a kid when I was a kid, and I had no idea my raw version was missing the stamp. I didn't even know about a stamp back then. I just had one, and then I went to get it graded finally, and I never looked. And they came back green label. I was pissed off that I didn't even look.
Oh wow!
And so then I traded and bartered and got this one because I mean, you got to have this one in a collection if you're going to have one.
So let me ask you though, the age-old question is: Die Hard of Christopher? No, not that one. Wolverine first appearance is 181, but technically in 180,
yeah, but I give them both.
He's a full body last panel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people argue this all the time. They say, well, what deems a cameo and what deems a first appearance? To me, a cameo is usually like
fist or something like,
or in the shadows, like Apocalypse was in X Factor at first.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, well, they think it depends on how he impacted the story because 180 doesn't revolve around Wolverine, but he pops up in the last panel. Yeah, that's Dell. We'll get into Dell.
I like it.
So that is a good argument that I've heard, that because 180 doesn't center around Wolverine, he's not a figure in the character. He's in the last panel to serve for the next book, and that's why. And that's the best answer I've gotten. But to me, 180 is his first appearance because he's full color, full page, full body, Wolverine. I
think you need both in your collection. That's what I think.
I agree.
I think they're both there. One's a cover appearance. One's I don't know. I think they're both worth it. To each their own.
A lot of people started buying up 180 because 181 was getting so expensive. So now 180 is going up.
I know that one's just as hard to get now too. I go with what I remember is always it because it said it in the Overstreet price guide that 181 was it. So I'm just going to go with that because that was the definitive answer for the longest time. And so I don't know. You're right, but it is what it is. When I was a kid, things, some like people say science is, settled. Science is always changing. So is comic books. When I was a kid, the dinosaurs with wings were pterodactyls, right? My kids now open a book. They're called pterosaurs. I'm like, no, that's pterodactyl. They're like, no, daddy, it's a pterosaur. I'm like, who went back in time 50 million years ago and changed it? Like, what happened? Why is it like? Someone answer that to me. But yeah, that was if it's 181, 180, get them both. That's my.
This is my point. Chris Borman even says the guides used to say first full appearance, and he's absolutely friggin' right.
Yeah.
And like you said, comics change too, like the science.
Yep.
I don't know why you were in Facebook jail, but let me know later, Del. I don't know what the hell you did wrong this time, but you probably pissed somebody off.
Yeah, you got reported. You got reported. This
and
book,
he wants to know what your grail is for right now. Like what? I mean,
my
your
grail
modern grail.
My modern grail. Hang on one second. I gotta grab it.
So yeah, Del, go back and watch. We did the video that shows the thing, and then he did a walk around tour with his phone of the cave. So go back and watch the replay.
So my modern grail is a one of a kind. It is a sketch done by Lucio Perillo on a blank for me. So he did this I sent this book to Italy. Pluto was a planet.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't. Then it is. Now it's not.
Right.
People in Pluto are like, what the hell? Make up your mind.
Yeah. He was a dog, damn it. He was a dog, not a planet.
My kids love Uranus. They think that's the funniest planet. So
they've never seen my Uranus.
Yeah, you're right.
They've never seen my Uranus.
There's one way I could swear as a kid. I could talk about the planets. So this book, I actually took this blank cover. I sent it to Italy. He painted with oil paintings on it, the sketch for me. He did a Batman Who Laughs cover. And then I met him at C2E2 and he presented it to me there. The only downside of this book, because he put a clip to hold the top of the book on the easel.
Oh no.
It didn't get a 9.8, and you can't press it because it's oil painting. So I couldn't send it. It got a 9.2. I don't care. The book is amazing. That's the cover art.
Wow.
Let me see if I can make it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Shiny.
Wow. Just turn it to the side a little. There you go. Wow.
Yeah, Lucio uses this picture in his promos. So every time you see something, you'll see this book. So this is my grail because this is mine. And it came out phenomenal. Nice. And it's scary looking actually when you see it.
Yeah, it is.
And I love this book because I love Batman Who Laughs. I love Lucio Perillo, and it's mine. So one of a kind. It's kind of like original art.
So Del said his birthday is February 6th, just to let you know.
You got it, buddy.
Lance Stewart said that is amazing. Chris asked about your Grail statue, but that's the Batman Who Laughs, right? That's what you said before, or?
Yeah, I think that's the Batman Who Laughs is like my favorite statue right now. I don't know. It's usually the newest one I get. I kind of like the Skeletor one too. The Skeletor statue is pretty freaking awesome when you see it in real life. But they're both phenomenal. They're just huge. They just. I don't know where someone would put it other than having a huge platform for it, like I built. But they are. I mean, I like the Batman Who Laughs because it has chains to it, and it's like the chains drape. Like when you put it together, actually, it's a pain in the neck. Like you have to loop the chains through the hands. I was so nervous I was going to break it. So I don't think I'm ever taking that thing down because to put it together was a pain, and it's just staying there forever.
Yeah,
maybe.
you know, I have like 60 statues and busts and stuff that one day I thought about doing a little video on or something, but I mean, I don't have the room like you do, but and then
still
I just
present them and.
I mean, just real quick. I mean,
for just a just for like a video for one day, it'd be cool.
I mean, I got.
Oh yeah.
Tons of
love
stuff
the Superman.
And art and everything. And then on this is just one room. I have a whole different room. It's on my D&D, the old Marvel Superheroes role-playing game.
Yeah.
Battle of the Planets and stuff there. Godzilla.
Omega Red, I can see.
Scar, Sabretooth, a bunch of Bowen busts.
I love the Bowen busts. Those are great.
And stuff. And then, you know, this is the room. Art. Well, all my games, I have a lot of tabletop games.
Oh, we lost him. Did we lose Phil? Am I still here for everybody? Well,
hang on.
All right, I thought I was hosting by myself.
No, I guess I pulled the wire too hard.
I was lost. I didn't know what to do. That I love it. I love it, Phil. Those are great.
And downstairs, I have a ton of statues. I mean, a ton.
Nice.
So, wow, Chris has 400 statues and busts.
Oh, Chris, you gotta display.
Are you
it,
single?
Man. You gotta display them, man. Display them, do a video. Those are great. Put them together. This book right here, I'm gonna show you. This was my first grail as a kid. Well, as a kid, I obviously would scrimp and save, look in the couch cushions for money, bring bottles back to redeem to get comic money. But I missed this one when it came out, and then it became an instant, like, I got to pay extra money for it. So I paid $25 as a kid. Now, the guy who owned the store, his name was Tony. Tony actually bought it at a show for me and then let me bring rolls of pennies weeks at a time. And, like, this was my first layaway book. And I mean, $25 isn't a lot for a book nowadays. Some of them cost more than that cover price. But this one back in like the 80s was my book.
Frank Miller Wolverine?
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah. Now, this one's I got signed, but this was my first grail.
Rubenstein. Nice.
Yeah. This one's signed by Rubenstein.
You know, I had Rubenstein on my
Claremont.
show. And he said that art is a lot of him because Frank Miller did extremely loose, rough.
Yeah.
And he filled in all the detail with his inks.
You can tell on the inside that
well,
was the
just
case.
look at the art compared to other Frank Miller stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Those are that book, like just the blades, you know, as a kid, I would look at my hands like, all right, they're gonna come out. Just like you would be like, I got the force, keep trying, like
I
it's
used to
gonna
have
work
from
for
a fan
some.
to go, wow.
Here's another one. This book, I won this one. But this is a triple sign and it's signed by Stan Lee. So we got this one in the
Nice.
collection. It's triple signed Stan Lee, Joe Rubenstein, and Claremont, and just 9/8 first Gambit.
Nice.
Again, debate first Gambit, but still, it has Stan Lee on it. So this one I like just because I actually won this one in a raffle. Now, this next one I have, this one's cool, and I'll see if you know why. But this is a character that I liked, but I didn't discover until the movie came out. But do you know what that book is?
Dead Word?
Dead
World.
Number 10. This actually predates the first appearance of the Crow, and he's on the back.
Oh, wow.
This predates the Caliber book.
Oh, wow.
Caliber presents by a month. Now, it's not the actual first Crow in print, but it's first Crow in print on a comic. Okay. The first Crow in print's actually in like one of those previews, like the newspaper things, which people are now getting and having graded now. Which is, but this one I just had to have because I love the Crow, and it's a 9/8, and there's only a couple of them. And this, you know, these harder indie books to get in clean shape is almost impossible to find.
Did you get James Obar to sign it?
No, not yet. I'm too afraid to crack it. It's I've gone down that road with CGC. It's a 9/8. I let them touch it, and no one touches it, and then all of a sudden it comes back different, and I'm like pissed. So well,
why don't you know what you could do is get a certificate of authenticity with a witness and have it signed and put it, you know, with it or something.
Yeah, or I just get a raw one and then take a shot at it. That's kind of, sometimes I'll just try to find a second one and just hopefully I can get it a 9/8. If not, it's still awesome to have it graded.
We got a question from Steve and a question from Dell. We'll do Dell's first.
Yeah.
Dell said, "Do you have any Last Ronin?"
The Last Ronin, the new series. I got the just the first one so far. Haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I did. It was pretty good, and I might turn around and sell it one day. So stay on my good side, Dell. Maybe you'll get it.
Yeah, I got the first one. I don't know if I grabbed the second one, but I'm usually what happens with a short series like that. I'll wait to read all of them.
Right.
Probably because I've been building stupid rooms, I haven't had time to read a lot.
Steve wanted to ask, kill a room as collections grow. There's only so much room one has. Do you have a lot in storage and just swap them out with what you have? up, or do you have plans to expand and grow the room even more?
Good question. Now that I built it, I don't know if my wife's gonna let me expand. I might have to buy the lot next door or another house or something. But I do have plans on thinning it out and selling. And I kind of like the books I have for display, but they'll get old, so I'll probably sell them and buy new stuff or have new stuff graded, especially the modern stuff. But I'll probably keep some of the the modern keys. But hey, everything's fluid in comics. If someone says I'll never sell something, then someone else shows up with a bigger check that makes them sell it. So everything's for sale at any given time. But I kind of, what I would hope to do is sell some of my raws and then buy other collections and see what I get for treasures and do it again and do it again. That's kind of my hope, is to, I mean, treasure hunting is the most fun part of this business is going and trying to find stuff. eBay kind of took the wind out of that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they make it too easy. I'd rather go grab a whole collection.
Dude, there was nothing better than going to your local shop, fingering through a bin, and you find that one issue, or those two issues. You're like, oh, this is awesome. I filled my run. I filled, I have I have like 29 issues left that I need to get the entire X-Men run from 1963.
Which ones?
I don't remember offhand, but they're between, obviously I need number 1. I have number 2. I have 3, 4. I have 12. Mostly, I think 1 or 2 in the first 10, 1 or 2 in the next 10, and then just sporadically before the reprints and after issue 68. So
yeah. Jerome from Temptations one day sold me like the best set. He bought a collection. I walked in and he hadn't even done work looking at it, and I just put my hand on it. I said, "How much for this?" And he was like, "I don't know," and he just gave me a price, and I said, "Deal," and I bought it, and he, it was like one of those things. Let me put $100 down on it and pay it off. And the next week he's like, "Oh, that thing was worth way more, but a deal's a deal." And after that, I was just like, "You're my guy, man." He's solid dude. Man of his word. Didn't turn around and say, "Oh, now I want more." He didn't really look at it. It was a good deal. I kept them all. It became part of my collection. He knows I'm a collector. And I got a big chunk of the X-Men that way. But I had a big run, and then I sold it. And then I bought it again, and then I sold it. And then it's kind of.
I also have the omnibus to read, so I can just protect my books.
Get the DVD ROM for the X-Men.
I thought about that, but I like having a book in my hand. I hate digital.
Yeah, but you're not going to open up number 1 and flip.
Well, that's why like I said, I have the omnibus, so I have one and up. Steve wanted to ask you, what is the best con in your opinion for collecting comics, and which is the best for toys and statues?
I think the best con for collecting is I don't want to put down the bigger ones, but they don't have sometimes they don't have a lot.
Pop culture, yeah.
Yeah, it's all pop culture. The Baltimore Comic Con I heard is good. I haven't been to that one, but I heard it's really good. Terrificon in Connecticut's terrific.
Yep.
I liked C2E2. I had a good time there. And what I liked about it was really spread out, and you weren't like too crowded, and there were a lot of vendors. I mean, a lot of vendors there. And so for comics, that's probably the ones I would go to. For toys, it depends. I mean, they're specialized. You can go to a Transformer toy show. You can go to a PowerCon for just for He-Man. But I do miss the old in the lobby of a hotel, convention where you got everything. It was all there. And I mean, they didn't have big stars there. You had Elvira was at every show. And that was the only woman at the show. There was no other women. There was just Elvira. Now you go and there's women everywhere, and you're like, what the hell happened? Like, and I'm not complaining at all. It's just I wasn't used to that. And now everyone's dressed up, and that's great. But sometimes they get in the way, and you're trying to get to a place, and they got the huge outfit on, and you're like, move, like, get out of my way. I'm gonna miss meeting somebody at a certain time. And so it's different now. But for toys, I don't know. I you know, if you like anime, there's some for anime. There's some for everything. There really isn't one for statues. Or order a statue from Dubai.
Cool.
Dubai, yeah, the Dubai one's great. Here's a couple other ones I have. This one's a great book. This is obviously I can't do this.
There you go. Turn it a little bit. There you go.
Yeah,
Lift
it's
it up. Yeah.
mixed. It's signed by
Stanley.
McFarlane and Stanley. So this one shot through the roof. I might sell this one, but I don't want to. But the price is so stupid high that I almost can't stop myself.
And you got the full Todd signature because he's been signing T. McFarlane lately.
I know. He'll do it. Actually, the last one he did some Todd, some T.
Yeah.
Because I sent some in and I got half and half. So it's whatever he feels like. You know, Stan, downside of this one, Stan did it right on the face. So
yeah,
which he tends to do. But that's a great book. And
well, he needs to remind you who's in charge, who's the real star.
That's right.
He needed to.
And then this one is just because I remember this book came out, but this is 5 times signed by all the creators.
Nice.
It's got Todd
Al
McFarlane, Al, De La Rosa, Bagley, and Micheline.
Nice.
And my buddy Reed from Dark Phoenix Comics got this done for me. So this was a great one. And that one was there.
Dell wanted to ask you, are you interested in a trade with the last Ronin #1 signed by Eastman, Walt, Bishop, and Mason?
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Depends what it's for. Everything's tradable.
DM them later on when you get your ass back on Facebook, you delinquent.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't get me booted. Now this is everyone knows this book, but I mean, when this came out, this thing blew it away. You remember saying when the villains finally win? Thanos didn't just win. He destroyed everybody. Each person differently.
Yep.
Which was just, he could have snapped his fingers, but no, he was like, Captain America, I'm gonna kill you this way. Cyclops, you got a cube on your head. Wolverine, your adamantium bones are jelly. That was, I mean, he just went through each and every. Oh, Hulk, you're a little tiny guy. Like he just went through it. And now this book is triple signed by Perez, Starlin, and Rubenstein. And I like this book because I was at a con, and it was at C2E2, and the George Perez line was like 5 hours long, and I was getting kicked out of the end of the line. They said I couldn't be at the end and wait 5 hours, so I went to the front of the line and I bribed someone to get the book done for me. So if you don't like waiting in line, pay someone, because that's what I do. I'm gonna go up front and go, hey, how many books you got? And if they got one book, I'm like, will you get these other 5 signed for me? Yeah, here's a couple bucks. Give them whatever they, negotiate it. Why waste your whole day if someone else will do it for you? So I don't know if that's completely legal to do, but I do it. Now I got to go to all the other shows and all the other stuff. Now this is one of my favorite covers, and this is a modern book. It's The Batman Who Laughs, Matina. Nice. Signed. I have this book, so many copies of this book. I just love it. I don't know if you saw it in the picture. I have the aluminum print of it, and they only made 30 of them. So I got the aluminum print. And then I had an artist do a original sketch of the Spider-Man 1 with Batman Who Laughs, make it look like Spider-Man 1, and I have it all over there. So I love that book. It's just scary looking. And I don't know why it just grabbed me when I first saw it. It's like Hellraiser, and I just wanted it. So every time I see that book, I buy it. And it's just one of the ones I like. And, I keep buying it. Probably shouldn't need to buy it, but I had this book as a poster in my room, and this is one of the
I think I know what it's going to be.
Yeah, the quintessential Mike Zeck, awesome.
Oh, okay.
The Cap versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
The Slash.
Yep.
This is triple signed by BD, Zeck, and Shooter. Again, Dark Phoenix Comics helped me get this. So thank you, Reed. The only downside was this was a 9.8 that was cracked. And I know they took good care of it. And then we sent to CGC. And then I had it resubmitted just in case he made a mistake twice. And it still didn't get a 9.8. And it pissed me off. But whatever, it happens. And I still love this book. I mean, I have a couple of them. But this was the poster as a kid. And next to my poster of a Lamborghini, 'cause it was the 80s, I had that.
Sideswipe.
Yes, Sideswipe, my favorite Transformer.
Dell wants to know, what do you think of Punchline?
I kind of like Punchline as a character. She's pretty cool, but she's a side character. She's, you know, I don't know what the big hysteria is about her.
It was a forced hysteria because they're trying to force the market. That's why.
Yeah, it's speculation hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a cool character. I mean, I don't want to take it away that she's pretty cool. I liked her in the books so far. But it's just like it's a henchman. She's just a henchman with some blades, and you know, she's another Harley, which is cool. I like it, but it's, you know, the hysteria of it was big. A lot of speculation. First appearance of anybody gets speculated. And, you know, I think the way they dropped it was what created that. They, you know, was it a cameo? Was it not a cameo? And
it was all orchestrated, though.
Of course, sell books. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you notice that run, how many new characters they have? Clown Hunter. They had like 4 or 5 new characters in span of like 10 books. And, you know, they're just, I mean, and it sold well. They did a good job with it. I mean, but I like Punchline, but it's, you know, it's not the character I'm enamored with, but it's a cool character. I'm not going to say this is awful because I know what they were doing. It's not Punchline's fault.
He also wants to know if you're a DC or Marvel guy.
Both. Even though I have a bat pole, I like both.
Cool.
But it's yeah. So yeah, do I have Batman '89? Yeah, I do. I got a bunch of them. So this
Walt Simonson.
Yep. And it's the newsstand variant, which
nice.
I sent in 4 of these, and only one didn't come back in 9.8. So I sold the others and I kept one. But I don't know why I like Beta Ray Bill. I just do. Again, he's like alternate of another character. I just like these doppelganger type of characters.
You know, when they I can't explain it. I can't put my hand on it. But when they shook things up in the 80s and got rid of a character like Beta Ray Bill, and they got rid of Thor for a while. Yeah, they still do stuff like that. But for some reason, it just feels like when they did it in the 80s, they did it well, and they're not doing it as well now. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my age.
You're curmudgeon.
Yeah, maybe. But, like, you know, I mean, I'm not going to say Thor Frog was the best replacement, but, you know, Beta Ray Bill was
I like
was
Thor
awesome.
Frog.
It
was fun. I was a kid. We were kids. I'm like, he's a frog. Whatever, but it's...
I just, even his whole Surtur saga, you know, with Odin and everything, it was just unheard of what he was doing at the time. It was just, I guess it's also tough because 40, 50, 60 years, you can only do so many original things, you know?
Yeah. I think nowadays, it feels really forced for other reasons.
So I agree.
There's a lot of, I'm just going to say there's a lot of outside stuff that comes into comics that I'm trying to escape by reading comics, which kind of pisses me off. And I'm like, why do we have to?
I don't disagree
with
you.
It's like when they did Beta Ray Bill, there was no one that's like, we need more horses in comics to get a horse-faced guy in there. You know, there's pressure to change. There's outside pressure to do for a reason, and it's political. And it's not creative driven. You know, the creators aren't there going, this would be a good idea. They're going, we need this. And
Dude, I saw
that's
reports that
forced.
Hickman, and I don't know how true this is, but I didn't know at first. Hickman was not happy. He was excited to be on the X-Men, but they keep getting in his way, telling him how to do this and that. And Hickman, this isn't exactly the story Hickman wants to tell, is what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but I can't stand X-clones. They're all clones.
Yeah, they are.
They're all clones. It's not the characters I grew up with. They're all dead.
Well, actually, Gold Balls or whatever his name is actually has a purpose now, so that was kind of cool.
I don't know. It bothers me. And then I don't just making characters after 50 years start kissing people they shouldn't be kissing or whatever. Like, I don't care about that stuff. I'm like, when they made North Star gay, it made sense. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. Have gay representation, it's cool. But when you take Kitty Pryde after 50 years and you make her all of a sudden like do a bisexual act, or if you take, and I really hate this, and I'll tell you why. Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Cyclops, and they're a nice three-way menage.
A lot of cool memes out of that, though.
Yeah, but now I'm really disturbed if all of a sudden they make Cyclops and Wolverine doing something, because that really is just nonsense.
Yeah.
But I actually am more angry at Jean Grey whoring herself between the two of them. See, me growing up, the good guy didn't get the girl. The bad guy got the girl. So I always hated when they made Mr. Fantastic Namor, and she's attracted to Namor even though she loves him, and Jean's attracted to Wolverine even though she loves Scott. I was glad to see Scott win. He was slim. He was the awkward, skinny dude. He didn't have the confidence even though he grew into it, and he finally got the girl. And Grant Morrison totally screwed that up. And then from there, it's just never been good. I mean, she gets resurrected, and it's like they don't even give a crap about each other. And then all of a sudden, they're all banging each other. And the truth is,
they are.
I don't even give a crap about that, whether it's gay or hetero. I just want to watch. I want to see superheroes. I don't give a shit about that.
I think you feel that way because it's forced. It's being forced into it.
Well, because you're taking 50-year-old characters that never showed any of that kind of inclination whatsoever, like Iceman.
Yeah.
What? And then this is what kills me the most is now they put out these articles to try to convince you that, look, there were signs he was gay the whole time. No, there weren't. He had girlfriends. He liked Jean Grey. What the frig are you talking about?
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, he was always about Firestar. He was like too afraid to ask her, but he loved Firestar, that's for sure. I mean,
and in X Factor, he had girlfriends. He was just a goofball. But what's worse is not only has he come out gay, but she had to help him come out gay by reading his mind. Yeah. What? Jesus, Bendis, what did you do? And you know what? That's probably not even Bendis wanting to do that.
It's forced. It feels forced, and when anything feels forced in a story, we pick up on it. And
yes, Cyclops was ruined, Gerald. Cyclops was the Captain America of the X-Men. And I will say this, as much as X-Men versus Avengers sucked balls, Cyclops shined. He was strategic. He plotted everything. He knew how to win. But then you have Namor, who is as strong as the Hulk. You have Magneto, who could take on a team by himself. And somehow and Rogue, who beat all the Avengers in the annual. And they can't stand toe to toe with the Avengers. I mean, Magneto couldn't beat Iron Man.
They nerf him all the time. They make him like nerfed out. They can't do anything. They do that all the time in books. That's why I don't like Superman. The guy should be able to stop everybody in the blink of an eye, but he lets it all drag on, and all these people get hurt, or get or at least they're scared. Like Superman, stop the guy before you even scare somebody. Like, stop being a puss. Just go. Just
but that's the thing I hate. And don't tell me Batman could beat Superman. No. The man could stand with microvision. Could stand 5,000 feet in the air. He could float and just burn him to death.
Yeah.
And I don't care what kryptonite you have. If you can move at light speed like that, you can run around you run in, you flick his head off, and you run out before the kryptonite even affects you.
But he will never do it. That's the problem.
Well, even still, you could run in, knock him out, and get out of there. I mean, come on. There's no way. That's why I hated Batman. Dark Knight Returns. I hated Dark Knight Returns. People praise it. No disrespect to the achievements of Miller, but there's no freaking way, old or young, Batman in a metal suit kicks Superman in the face and makes him bleed. There's just no way. There's no way. I don't care if you're wearing the Iron Man armor. The same with Iron Man Hulkbuster armor going against the Hulk. You're out of your freaking mind.
That is a funny one too. I like that one.
You're out of your mind.
Well,
yeah, Del, keep dreaming.
Here's another one that I like just because it's Reverse Flash. I got this.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
The Matina Reverse Flash. He just looks awesome in this. So
yeah, that's a nice one.
I got it. Every time I do a Matina signing, this one's in it. It's one of those another ones that when you buy it, it's there. Always have it. This one, I'm kind of bummed came back 9.6, but this is signed by Welker and Cullen. I tried again to get this one redone, pressed, but it's not coming back a 9.8. I tried like 3 times on this one, but this one's displayed with all my Transformer toys in the other room. And then you were talking about X-Men that you saw as a kid. This is my favorite X-Men cover. It's not a 9.8, but I don't care because this is from my original collection. I didn't trade. I didn't sell this one. This is his first solo story, actually.
And that's where he comes out swinging, and everybody really started loving him.
Yep. And this is he was like in the sewer, and he comes up out of the bottom, and it's going through like the kind of like a kung fu film. He's going through all the different levels to get to the bosses, and this is I love this book. I always love this book. I always will. This was my favorite X-Men book because it focused on Wolverine.
By the way, Keith, it's funny that you say that. Man, Keith, you must be a brother from another mother, because the unstoppable force versus the immovable object, that I always want to see that too.
Or a team up between the two.
Well, the thing is, the Blob roots himself to the ground. You can't move him, but the Juggernaut is unstoppable once he starts moving forward.
Yeah.
Which they've forgotten about both of those things. So that's interesting.
Momentum. Yes. One other thing I got, I got a bunch of different art by people, but this one was cool. This was from Scorpion Comics. They did the Providence Comic Con, and they did a exclusive Joker book for Joker, You're the Villain. And it was like a Cesar Romero Joker they did. And I have that, but then it was Clayton Crane that did it. But then I asked Clayton Crane, and Sean from Scorpion Comics hooked it up to do a remark, which I'm not big on remarks because I feel like, they've already drawn on it already.
It's half-assed art.
Yeah, but some of them are really good. Well, this one he did, and what he did was he drew right on top of the face of his original art, and he changed it to other Jokers. So this is Jack Nicholson.
Oh wow!
And it looks like the other book he had, but then he did the Heath Ledger one for me.
Oh, nice.
So these are he painted white. He whited out right here, and then did a remark on top of it.
Wow.
And then
that's cool.
The best one, let's save for last, is the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Very cool.
So he did. I love these 3 books just because they display well. And they're just different. And I know he did it a couple other times. I know I'm not the only one that has this, but I just love him because he has it. He did ask if I wanted the Jared Leto one, and I was like, that one doesn't.
No, you want the Joker.
Yeah.
Not Flavor Flav.
Yeah, no, we don't want Jared Leto. Like, and he's cool. He laughed and he was like, yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah, that Joker needed the big clock on his chest. Wait, it gets worse. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you got the grill. You got the grill. My son wanted me to show this one because this is his favorite. He loves Black Manta.
Turn it to the side. You'll get a reflection from your screen. Nice.
Black Manta. It's not a great quality one, but it is Black Manta. It's kind of hard to find this one in super good shape. But my son loves. This is his villain. He likes. He's 8, and he's like.
So did he see the movie Aquaman?
Yeah, we watched it. He liked it, but he plays it on Fortnite, and Fortnite actually they're getting the license to do all this stuff. It's really connecting some kids with comics. That
Shannon Mayer did a Mystique for it.
Yep, yeah, and you can get the skins and play as
Yep.
different characters, and it's pretty neat. But it is a smart money-making idea by the company because my son just wants to burn V-Bucks on these stupid things constantly. I'm like, when you shut the game off, you have nothing. But hey, that's his comic book, so he kind of
Right.
likes it. And then the last two things I put aside are toys to show you. And then, so I got a graded Faker because it's an 885. Faker is the opposite of He-Man, so again, I like him. The Doppelganger is always my favorite. And then I love the Superpowers line from 85, 84, 85. And I just liked how the cards look. I like the colors. They never made a Bizarro, but but this is usually the hard one to get.
Nice.
And then it's the Cyborg. It's a 90, AFA 90. But I just like the cards. I like the.
I didn't even remember them making one.
For Cyborg or for.
Yeah.
It was the third series. It came out in like 87, I think. It's a harder one to get because.
Should have got Marv Wolfman to sign it.
I'm not opening this sucker. Don't worry. It's not. But yeah, Wolfman's. I have him sign the. He signed the first Deathstroke that I have.
Nice.
And the first Nightwing. But I just liked. I love these cards with the image right here of the character popping out and the superpowers with the colors. I just like how they display. I just really like them. I mean, I know it's sacrilege, but I like the card better than I like this card.
No, I get it.
I don't know why. It just pops to me, the colors. So I've always liked those toys. I find them to be fun to collect. But when you open them up, they weren't really fun to. I mean, you squeeze the legs and they were like they weren't the best to play with. But I mean, they were pretty cool. I think they're really cool to display. But you know, it's one of those things that you forgot you had, and then you're like,
right.
Oh yeah, I had the Hawkman one, and his wings would.
You know what I want to recollect? I had is the Micronauts as a kid. I wanted Force Commander and Baron Cars. I want to collect again. I want to get them with the horse and everything. You know, because they become the Centaur.
Yeah.
I want those again.
Oh, those would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for Mask to reissue. See some Mask stuff.
Well, they're supposed to do a movie, so that might happen.
Yeah, I know.
Except it'll probably be the movie version of it, not what we grew up with.
No,
I had the car that turned into the flying thing, and then I had the plane that turned into a helicopter, which really made no sense because they served the same purpose, but it was still cool.
Yeah, I had the motorcycle that turned into a helicopter.
Yeah, that one. Oh, I did have that one. That I loved. That was my favorite.
Yeah, and then it was like an orange motorcycle, I think. He was a bad guy.
Wasn't it black and orange?
Yeah, black and orange, but he was like a bad guy. And his mask came over, and his hair would still stick. It was a hole in it. His hair would stick out the top. I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool." You know, he was he was pretty fun to have as a character. But the toy that I have a cousin and I were born in the exact same day, and we call each other twins, but we're not. We have different parents. But the toy that we always wanted that he got was the USS Flag from G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah, I always wanted that
freaking aircraft carrier.
Oh my god,
it was so big, and he, you know, he lived kind of far away, and my grandmother lived like halfway distance. So he brought it to my grandmother's house, and we actually set it up in a bedroom where no one was staying, and we took down the bed. And the whole room was the aircraft carrier, and the rug was blue, so it looked like the
ocean.
The ocean, and I had the planes, and we brought it all. We left all our stuff there, and every weekend we could not wait to go to Grandma's house because him and I would meet and we'd play with the aircraft carrier. But once that was, you know, you couldn't take. Once it got taken down, that was it. It was gone. The stickers for the thing went like 6 feet long, and if you took it down, the stickers ripped. It wasn't designed to be taken, put it apart, but that toy, man, it was the biggest toy ever. It was
I never got it. I had the oil rig, I had the jet, I had the command center with the jail, but with the tank and everything. But
I had the Terradrome. That was cool.
That I didn't have either.
The plane came out the center. There's a dome and it opened.
That's cool.
The plane came out.
I remember the Rattler. I love the Rattler.
Oh, those are great toys.
RJ Souza. Now, it says, much love from Hawaii. Love right back to you. I really enjoy your content a lot. Can you do us a solid and show us some love back by saying, I don't know, what does that mean?
Boto.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I know what this means.
Yeah, Boto. We're right back at you, bud.
I love Hawaii. I went to Maui. Greatest place ever. They have the best temperature and climate, and they got Portuguese food.
And you were telling me about that.
They got the linguiça there, and I almost moved there because of it. If my wife didn't stop me, I was buying a place there, and I was never coming back.
As Chris said, I actually got a Timo
Timo Solani, hockey player.
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch hockey. Figure in the mail today and opened it up and displayed it. Don't hate me.
That's all good, man. Get Timo to sign it.
Dude, I had people yell at me because I had the Herculoids figures that came out in the 90s with the big backgrounds on them, right? And my daughter's like, oh, Dad, we want to play with them. And we want to play with them. And I was like, I could sell these for a lot of money each. But money's not more important to my kids. And they loved it. So I opened it for them and I let them play. And, man, I got a lot of backlash. People are like, are you out of your mind? My kids will do whatever.
You know what? Toys are meant to be played with. They're also made to be collected. Right. Buy 2 of everything. Open one and keep one sealed. That's the collector. But
right. He said it's a word of endearment. Well, right back at you, RJ.
Boto. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Boto.
What am I
saying? Like a gringo. Boto.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine. She found her old Thundercats and she gave them to me, and had the Thunder tank and everything. First thing I did with it, I could have squirreled it away, had it graded. Nope, let's play with it. We smashed that Thunder tank, and my wife's like, "Oh, that's cool. You're playing with it. It's not worth anything." I'm like, it's kind of
Don't tell her.
and like it had the rubber track still on it. They got ripped off. Like, what? You know what? Though, you got to have fun with it sometimes, and when you play, you got to smash them together and play with them. But when you realize what they're worth, you might not want to do it sometimes. But you know what? Those are toys, man. You got to play with them.
My kids have the original '80s Thundercats figures.
Oh, yeah,
dude, I loved the Lunatics, and they never made figures of them. The Lunatics were creepy villains. They were cool, and they kicked the Thundercats' ass in the beginning.
And they never made them.
No, and I would love to see the Lunatics in a live-action Thundercats. They were creepy and badass. Yeah. I mean, she was riding that. You had Chilla freezing people. You had why am I not thinking of their names? But Alluro, and you had Tugmug, who was bouncing around and had the cannon. And then you had what was the other guy's name? Who he had the visor
I can't remember the names of those.
And then you had
I just watched it recently too.
The big beast that she would ride. Her name was Luna, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were awesome. I loved when they brought them in, and then I liked Bengali. That was so cool, man.
Yeah, it's a good show. I mean, you forget that show actually of all the shows, it had more depth to it than the others. I mean, I
Star Wars influence in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
when I went back and started watching Transformers and Voltron, I was all excited. I finally got them on DVD. I fall asleep, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're great, but it's the same show over and over again. I'm gonna preface every Transformer show for you right now. There's a power plant, and the Decepticons come flying in. And they're like, and the humans go running, and they take a tube and they stick it in the wall, and magical glowing ooze come out, and they fill cubes with it, and it's Energon. I don't know how they get this converter tube that does it, but whatever. And then the Autobots come in to save them and disrupt their little plan. And then that's the basics of every show. Then there's a slight variation where either an Autobot gets taken prisoner or something else, but pretty much. That's 90% of all the shows.
Did you see the new Transformers that was on Netflix last year? That's starting up in a couple of days.
Yeah, that was.
I liked that a lot.
It was on Cybertron and it had a great.
And the good guys weren't kicking ass. They were running and hiding. Yeah.
Oh, and
Megatron was badass.
And he had like Ultra Magnus showing up trying to beg for mercy and being kind of a traitor a little bit, and it's a little bit of infighting where I'm not going to listen to you, Optimus. That was great, and
then at the end when Astro Train showed up, that was like whoa, and it's like a Guardian. Yeah, that was so cool.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm wearing I don't know if you've ever heard of this band, Cybertronic Spree.
Never heard of them.
They are from Canada, and they dress like Transformers, and they play the original '86 movie soundtrack.
You've got the touch.
All by all the songs by Stan Bush.
You've got the power.
Yeah. And I've seen
Dirk Diggler did a good job of that too.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. When that came on in that movie, I was like, "That's from Transformers." Oh my, and I'm like, people looking at me like, "What?" Like, of course, you can see the little influence that movie had.
I hated Rodimus Prime. I'm sorry, I hated.
He got Optimus killed, but
I hated it.
Well, you might like seeing the band because he's the lead singer of this band, and they play "Dare to Be Stupid." But they play like other music too. They play live, and they are amazing. And
so they're like the Gwar of Transformers.
Bingo. But they are good. And I saw them. They actually played at a small bar / club in New York in last year's New York City Comic-Con. I really went to Comic-Con to go see Cybertronic Spree, which wasn't part of the Comic-Con, but they just happened to be there. And they were on a tour, and I could not wait to go see them. And after the bar, they hung out and they drank with me
the
whole night. And they never broke character. They pretend they're Transformers. And I mean, I swear to God, after like 8 beers, the guy was like, "You humans are crazy." Like he never
and
broke
after
character.
8 beers, you're like, "I can't believe I'm hanging with Rodimus."
I know. I have all these pictures of me and like with Unicron and Rodimus and
did you see that Unicron toy that came out last year?
Yeah, that thing's huge. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I had a statue, but I sold it.
I'm actually eventually going to get a commit. Well, someone's going to steal this idea. Maybe I'm going to stay quiet with that. Yeah, it's a cool idea, though. Agreement. What's that?
Non-disclosure agreement before you.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I'm going to keep that quiet because someone's going to steal it.
I had an idea that I don't actually care if anyone steals it because I want it to be made. I wanted a fighting game with 80s toys, but the cross licensing would be impossible. Right. But I wanted it to be like Marvel versus Capcom, but it'd be like Transformers, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, like all of them, and you could pick whoever and you could fight them. Like
that would be cool.
Like a fighting, just like
Mask versus G.I. Joe and
yeah, tagging Miles Mayhem and Cobra Commander. Like you could
Voltron versus Devastator.
Oh yeah, like you could do so much with it. But I know I don't mind sharing the idea because if you can do it, anyone watching, do it. I want to buy it because that would be huge. That would be just the best. And but it's all products owned by it.
Like Keith said, you could have Optimus Prime versus Leader 1 because the GoBots was so awesome. I had those toys too, though.
Or GoBots sucks.
I had the GoBots toys too, though. I did.
I liked the little show for when I was a kid, but I mean, the toys were so bad. I mean, just the scale, they were like this big. And then the only one that was big was that weird car that no one knew who it was.
And it's funny because the transformation was you just stood it up like this and there was a face.
Yeah.
That was the transformation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Ready Player One. Yeah. I really was hoping that movie would be better. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
Did you read the book?
No.
Read the book. The book's way better. Way better. The book has so many more nuanced, like Easter egg cameos on stuff that you and I like, and everyone here is reading. I'm reading Ready Player 2 right now. I just wish I had more time. I started reading it, and it takes right off where the last one started. But I mean, so much more stuff than the movie could produce. And the reason really comes down to licensing. There's no way they were going to get the licenses for all that stuff. But I thought the movie did a pretty good job keeping the story pretty close to the book. It's just, you're hoping for this video game. You're hoping for this toy to be in it, but they just couldn't put them all together.
Right.
just because of the rights with everything. But that book's great. And actually, Armada, his second book, is a pretty good book too.
Okay.
One of the better, newer sci-fi writers out there that I kind of like was that. You don't see me reading a real book very often. It's mostly comic books. So if I have to break down a book without pictures, it better be damn good.
So we've actually been doing this for 2 hours and 40 minutes,
Wow.
believe it or not. Yeah, man. Well, it's good when you just geek out and have fun. I mean, we don't get to do this as adults as often as we used to, especially without cons.
I know.
Can you do me a favor? You could just pan it with your computer like you did last time. For guys like Dell that came in late, can you just do a quick pan and show them the room again? It's an L shape. Very cool.
This is just my computer sliding on the table.
Thanks for doing that. Just wanted to show the people that didn't get a chance to see.
Oh yeah.
And there's that your bat pole.
There's the bat pole.
So look, thanks for coming out, man. It was a lot of fun. It was nice.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, again, even the guys in the chat, people stuck around for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes because we covered so much of what we love, especially for this age group that is, seems like long forgotten and is not. This is the stuff that it kind of molded us in a way. I mean, if you think about it, we grew up in a generation where good was good and bad was bad. It wasn't blurred. You know, we didn't have an anti-hero growing up, really. Even Wolverine, they made sure you don't kill. You're not supposed to kill. He did some bad things, but we weren't really in the age of anti-hero like we are now. So it kind of molded us. And it was great to go back down memory lane with that cartoons and stuff. So it was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. If I could tell anybody one thing, display your stuff. You have art. It does no good sitting in a box. Don't be afraid to geek out and display it, enjoy it, look at it. I mean, I had all these slabs and just boxes, and people go, "What's that?" And now they see it and they go, "Holy crap, you're crazy!" But they, it's if I could inspire anyone to, display stuff, go for it, man. It's fun. It's fun to look at stuff, and
and to decompress, just to slide down the pole and look at just fun.
Yeah, have fun with it, and create something that you're going to do. Now, ask permission from the missus first.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, don't. You might be living down here if you don't. So,
Yeah.
my wife tonight said, "Have fun in your little podcast." I'm like, "You got it, well, honey. Thank you."
Well, look, real quick before we let you go, just to let you know, Keith had mentioned Sky Commanders was a cool cartoon and great toy line.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, they still slide on the zip lines, right?
Yeah. Gerald said kick-ass man cave. John Ottinger said so cool, wow. Gerald said superior collection. Keith asked if you buy prints from artists as well or just original art.
No, I like prints. They're great.
John loves this stuff. And Steve said, great show, fellas. Jay, you need to be my best friend. Thanks for showing us the room and some of the goodies.
All right, bestie.
Let me tell you something. Steve Garcia is one of the coolest, finest people I know. And he's an amazing animator. He did storyboarding for the Iron Giant.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
He's a rock star in hiding.
Yeah. I love that movie. That was a classic then. And that one kind of came out of nowhere too. That was like, when you watched it, you're like, oh, Disney movie. And then it was comic books. You're like, holy crap, this is good. Wasn't expecting it at Disney.
And that ending was just awesome. Whether you like Superman or not.
I know, but it's I like stuff about Superman. I just don't like.
No, I get it. I get it.
Come on, Superman. I love Injustice when he's bad. I think Superman should be a bad guy. Just like when Hulk Hogan became bad and he was awesome bad. Superman needs to be bad. That's my thought.
Well,
cool, man.
Thanks for coming out. thanks for showing us. It was really awesome.
I appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun, and everyone stay safe, and let's get the cons back in business.
That's right. I will answer that question after we say see you to Jay, Chris. Man, thank you so much. Enjoy that Batcave. Good luck. You're gonna have to hire some people to help you alphabetize that stuff.
I have a whole crew. I'm working on it.
Cool. And dude, stay in touch and friendly with us online. And any new stuff comes up, come back on.
All right, sounds good.
Even just to shoot the breeze.
I know, definitely. Thanks again. God bless.
You too, man. Have a great night.
Take care.
So that was Jay Williams, Ultimate Collector. I had a great time. I mean, almost 3 hours went by. I don't even know where it went. It was just fun. And I'll be honest with you, I'm so busy immersed in work, 6, 8-year-olds, or just not really interacting with many people on a regular basis, that to be able to just be a kid again and talk about this stuff for me was great. It was therapeutic. It was good. It was cathartic. It was great. So thanks for you for all staying around and checking it out and talking with us like you always do. I appreciate that. So Chris, I just want to let you know, March 14th, I run conventions. I have a 1-day convention and a 2-day convention. My 2 days Creatorcon, which is on hiatus because of COVID. I have a small 1-day show, which is the Suffolk Comic and Art Expo. I usually get people like Adam Kubert and Jim Steranko and Scott Williams and Mark Bagley and people like that at the show. March 14th, I have a small one. I'll have Billy Tucci and Larry Stroman and Keith Williams and Scott Hanna and very likely Sean Chen and Mike Lilly, as long as COVID is under control, and Rodney Ramos and Alex Rivera and Tony Cordos and a bunch of other people and comic vendors and CGC facilitators. And it's $5 cash at the door, but it's here in Long Island, New York. So I don't know where you live, my friend, but $5 cash, you get to see all those headliners and a bunch of great local talent. That's my show, the Suffolk Comic and Art Expo. I posted the other day about it. I will post again, but keep an eye out. And please spread the word, Chris, even if you can't make it, even if you're not around. All of you, please spread the word about the Suffolk Comic and Art Expo. We also have to show them that there is hope for conventions to come back, that you cannot keep a geek spirit down, that we got to keep doing this, plugging away, and have fun. Having said that, I have a show Tuesday, and I haven't looked at my schedule, so I don't even remember what's going on. But Tuesday, I have somebody here, so keep an eye out for that post and check it out. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks for everybody who stayed for the whole show. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being part of the conversation, being supportive of my show, of the guests that I have on. And, of course, you guys are the backbone of this whole industry and why we have an industry. There's no Bill Sienkiewicz and there's no Todd McFarlane if there isn't all of you. And that's just the truth. And me and Jay, etc. So we make this community. So God bless all of you. Thanks so much. We rang in the new year really well so far, and let's just keep plugging along and doing this. So God bless you, and thanks for coming out. And I'm going to tell you what I always tell you. Be legendary and have fun storming the castle.